as being a modular system. So the bigger you want it, the more you just keep adding and adding and adding. And so we've given you a double option. So if you wish to have a double, we've put the fabric in, and that is what we've done. So the Rolling Stone quilt is the main one for today. You can buy it singularly, you can buy it with all the fabric, all in the right proportions if you wish. If you wish to buy it by itself, it's $8.95. OXEQ 79. Now, I'm going to show you all the different quilts as you go that we've got. Now then, here we go. Let's see, which one I've got? Paris on Point is my next one. Oh, I've got a whole load here. Let me get them all out my trolley. Here we go. This is your, Paris on Point. So lots of you loving the quilt as you go. $11.95 for that one, simply because it's a different wadding. It's an 80-20 wadding. There we go, that's that one. Next one, I've got, this is your sophisticated strips. There it is, sophisticated strips, again on that 80-20, so different kind of wadding. You will need a spray adhesive for any of the 80-20s. $11.95 for that, NTEQ 46. Last one, oh no, next one is the London Labyrinth. We've done this on the show, so if you've maybe started it, love it, need some more, here it is. So this is an 80-20 wadding, and here it is $11.95. XREQ 69 there. And then we've also got some available that we don't have actually in the studio, but let's show you them anyway. So we've got hopscotch for you. Again, $8.95. This is your polyester wadding in here. When they're $8.95, they're your polyester. When they're $11.95, they are your 80-20. That's the difference. Okay. Next one. Fair and Square, here it is. And this is $8.95, so that's your polyester wadding on that one as well. And again, the more you buy, the bigger the quilt you can make. It's as simple as that. You just keep adding them on. And then the last one that we've got for you today is the Mosaic Magic. Always a winner, always a winner. And that one is $8.95 as well, I do believe. Yay! There you go. LCEQ 40. Now, I mentioned bundles. Yes, I did. I mentioned bundles, and I've got 3 different colorways, but 4 bundles. So, let's start off with the double. We've never done this before, so we're dipping our toe in to see what you think. If we have a look, can we have a look very briefly behind lovely Jane? So, do you want to see the whole quilt? Okay. Whichever way, I just want you to see what a double looks like. There we go. Huge. Well, you can almost see the bottom row. But basically, it's 12 blocks rather than your 6 that you would get because you just add on another. So we did the maths and we worked out what you needed because it's different proportions of fabric. So we have given you, to start off with, 2 quilt as you go. So there you go, you can see those there. 2 of these. Yeah, so you're getting 2. 1, 2. 2 of those. You are also getting, I've had to write this down, okay. So we've got your ecru, you will get 1.5 meters of your ecru. You will get 1 meter of this beautiful Japanese garden blossom. You will get 1 meter of your sulfur linear, lovely. You will get 1 meter of your dragonflies, and you will get your thread, but you will also get 2 meters of this, which is really rather beautiful. We haven't had this on air yet on any of my shows. We had this in a cream background on another show, but if you want that by the 1/2 meter, because I know that that's going to be super popular, then I've got that by the 1/2 meter as well. It's $5.95 per 1/2 meter. Here it is, brand new to wear today. We brought its sort of linen coloured counterpart last week, but that was on Wednesday, we brought that last week, but I love that in that deep blue. Beautiful. So that is one option. If you would love these colorways, but in a single, so just one of these, then this is what you get. You will get 1/2 meter of your ecru. You will get 2 meters of your cherry blossom. You will get 1.5 meters of your linear. You will get 1.5 meters of your beautiful dragonfly, first seen last week on Wednesday. And you will get 1 meter of that. Beautiful. That's what you're getting. There we go. Now, so that's one option, and that's 70/45. Now, let's have a look over here. Here, we've gone for just plains. So you've got beautiful patterns there. And now, 5.5 meters of fabric here, but look at these gorgeous colours. So you've got your linears here. Now, I know that's hang on. No, that one's not azalea. I know. We'll get there with the colours. But look, these are just classic, beautiful colours that work gorgeously together. And they are 51/45. And that's for one of these. Now, the other one, I love this. Pink and green should always be seen. Look at this. So you've got azalea and green here. And that's 51/45. So if you want your designer fabrics, go for the dragonflies. And the Chinese, if you're after just the classic, just plain colours, go for these. 51/45, TUGC 55. Absolutely stunning. They are your quilts today. And the lady that is responsible for making these is lovely Jane Alocok. And this is the quilt that we're making today. Hurrah! Oh, got to take these heels off, Jane. Hello, my love. Mwah. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Are you?
Really good to see you.
Thank you.
You clever thing. Can I just say, you work so hard before you come on the shows. Look at this, ladies and gents. This is what she has created with the help of Mum.
Yes. Down to Mum sewing the binding on again. Bless her.
Mum's work is on the back. Check that out. Isn't it gorgeous? Really, really beautiful quilt.
They wouldn't get finished without my mum. They
Hey.
wouldn't.
Now, this is Quilt As You Go.
Yes.
How do we start?
You start off by opening your lovely pack of wadding, flinging it out, and inside you will find a sheet of instructions.
Okay.
They give you the quantities of fabric, and then it tells you about all your cutting, and you have to do a bit of pre-piecing beforehand, and then the assembly.
Okay.
So
by pre-piecing, what do we mean by that?
we're going to make some half square triangles that we sew together, and that's on this bit here. So this bit is sewn together before you actually attach it to the wadding.
Right. Now, you've got a choice today of having this as a single or a double. Now, this one is, hang on, details down the bottom. Oh, no, hang on. No, we haven't put the details up for this one yet. With the Japanese fabric, which is this one, you've got a choice. That's the double, so that's the one just by Jane there. If you want that, but as a single, then the details are down there. Oh no, they've changed the details now. Playing catch up.
Keep you on your toes.
Oh my goodness, this is the bright one, which is now down there for you. There we go. We get there in the end.
Yes,
it's Monday. It's early. Yeah. Quilt As You Go is literally that, isn't it? So you literally quilt as you go. Look at that. Fab. Which means that you're never struggling to get a huge amount of fabric under your sewing machine.
No, you could make this. You could make a king size quilt with this method, because it will always fit under your machine. You know, you could just keep on going.
And you wouldn't have the expense of having to send it off to be long arm quilted or anything like that, because you've done it as you go.
You've done it. You know, the hardest thing you'll have is when you join your box together, but that's straight sewing, so it won't cause you too much angst.
Brilliant. So we've got the cutting instructions, and that is done per block.
Yes.
So you just times it by however many blocks you're going to do.
Yes. That's right. Yeah.
What do we do next?
Okay. The first thing to do, obviously, you'll have followed your instructions. You'll have cut all your pieces. The first thing to do is to attach the backing. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I struggled a bit with this.
Okay.
It's pre-adhesived, so it's fusible.
Yes.
Now, the instructions say to lightly iron it with jets of steam.
Right.
Now, it's polyester wadding, so you can't press hard with polyester because you're just going to flatten it,
You'll
particularly with a hot iron.
You'll end up with toast, won't you?
Yeah, it'll be crispy and hard. So I struggled and I couldn't get it to fix on, and my lovely friend Caroline just happened to pop into the shop as I was going, I can't do this. And she said, why don't you try steaming the wadding first, just to maybe soften the adhesive.
Oh, that's the trick.
So I did that and held that over the top, just not ironing it, but held the iron above it, steamed it, just enough
to activate the glue.
Yeah,
that's
I think
what
that's
you
what
need.
it did, and then put the backing on, and then ironed it very lightly, but steamed it again, and that seems to have held it. But I'm going to warn you that it does start to come undone as you work with it.
It's not a permanent adhesion, isn't it? It's just to get you through making it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, isn't it, that we give these to you, and if there is a shortcut like that, perfect. Now we know, and it saves anybody at home go, oh, this is so. Do that. Do the without the backing on, but just lightly. I
didn't even put the iron on it. When I was steaming it before I put the fabric on, I just held the iron over the top with the steam.
And that was enough.
Yeah, so thank you, Caroline, for helping me with that.
Bless her. Thank you. We're very appreciative of that. And the other trick that you said was to cut the backing just to the size of this.
Yeah, in the instructions, they tell you to cut the backing pieces at 17-inch squares, which is a lot bigger.
Yes.
And again, because it wasn't sticking as well as I'd liked it to, it kept catching, so that was pulling it off as well. So for this one, I've just literally cut it more or less the same size, just a fraction bigger.
And the joy of that is actually you end up with fabric left over.
Yes.
So, you know,
It was quite wasteful because you're going to cut it away anyway. So, you know, if you cut it more or less to the size of the wadding, that's going to be less wasteful for your fabric.
Any tip that saves us fabric and gives us a bit left over, we're
a bit
happy
more
with.
for your stash to play with.
Excellent. So when we've done that, we've got the wadding on the back. You could always use a spray adhesive if you're worried about over ironing.
Yeah,
just pop a spray adhesive on.
I resorted to that in the end with that one because I couldn't get it to stick. So we've got all the squares cut here. What we're going to do first is we're going to just make some half square triangles.
Okay.
I'll explain each piece as I go through. So the half square triangles are the bits that make the points on the star. So on mine, it's the turquoise and
that way round.
Antique.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these are the piece. When you say there's some piecing to do before you start, this is the piecing. So if you're buying this today, watch. You can always watch back on YouTube as well. So I know a lot of you were saying at Festival of Quilts, I watch the show live, but then I watch it back on YouTube because I can fast forward and rewind and then quilt along with it. So what sizes were these?
These squares are cut at 4 inches.
Right.
We're going to mark the diagonal across the lighter colour.
So you need to have a fabric pen for that.
Point to point.
Now was it you that had that tip about drawing?
Yes.
To draw from the middle? I'd forgotten that.
When I'm marking, I always go from the middle outwards, particularly when I'm marking across the diagonal, because you're on the bias and it will drag the fabric. So this prevents drag on the fabric, but I'm just going from the middle outwards each time. It's
these little tips that just make, even if it just makes like a 2 or 3 mil difference, it's a difference worth noting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So you've got 4 squares.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have 8 triangles ultimately. So you get 2 from each one.
Fab.
So once you've marked your diagonal on your fabric, we then place them right sides together if you've got a pattern fabric. With the solids, it's not so obvious.
I think if you're starting out with a quilt, working with just your plain solids is often a really easy introduction because, like you say, you're not worrying about whether it's the right side or the wrong side, because that's always a mistake that I make. You might be brilliant at home. You probably are. But for me, that's a mistake that I often make. So actually starting with your plains, great place to start. But if you are a more experienced quilter and you want to go for the patterns, we've got glorious patterns for you. So it's whatever. We've got all sorts today.
Yeah.
Different colours, different budgets. It's all there for you. Different sizes. Excellent.
So I'm now going to sew 1/4 inch either side of the line. It's all written on here.
Yes.
It tells you everything that you need to know. And that line. There's also a video to watch, a demonstration section on their website, so you can watch a video of how to do it
that's the detail for that. Of course, you can watch this show back again. Just make a note of the day and then go onto YouTube. You can find that. This is what we're doing. So we've aligned them, we've marked them. We're now sewing down either side. Oh, this gives the game away. We're going to cut down that middle line in a minute.
We are.
And then press. Hang on, I need my iron out.
Yeah, we're going to have to press.
Rosemary in Warwickshire says, hello Natasha, lovely to meet you and the sewing quarter team at the Festival of Quilts on Thursday. Great day, says Rosemary from Warwick. Hello Rosemary. She said to me, I never see you in the market, because I always say I go to Warwick Market on a Saturday to get on my fruit and veg. She said, I never see you. I said, oh, I go early. But I did, there was no missing me this week because I took my Great Dane with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, good job I did go early. He does like the bread stand.
I bet he's at the right height for the bread stand as well.
Everything is chop height for Eric. Everything. Thank you, Rosemary. It's lovely to hear from you. You see faces to names now. Now I know what Rosemary looks like.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Really lovely.
Brings everybody to life.
Did you go?
I didn't. I wasn't able to get there.
Oh, Jane.
I was busy prepping.
It was our fault you didn't actually go. Whoops.
No.
Blame
it
us.
is difficult when you've got the shop, you know, and I'm working in the shop. I could have gone on Sunday, but I was prepping.
You were prepping, yes. Now, half an inch. Are you...
Quarter of an inch.
Quarter of an inch, rather.
Yeah, I'm just chain piecing this. I've gone down one side, I've turned it round, and I'm just going back up the other side.
I'm enjoying this chain piecing. It makes it nice and speedy.
It does. Saves on thread, saves time. There we go.
So the one we're using now is the Brights, which is over there, which is 51.45. Here's the kit, 5.5 meters of fabric. You've got this beautiful, vibrant pink and gorgeous blue in there, and it's stunning. But you've also got different textures because 2 of those are solids, but 2 are also the linear. And I want to show you that linear in a minute. So you're working with textures rather than prints, but it's a happy fabric collection. This one.
It is. It's lovely
beautiful.
And bright.
Let me show you the. Whilst Jane cuts those down the line she marked, I just want to show you this is the linear. So you can see we're working with a texture. So same colour here, but you've got different textures in there. So it's just a subtle difference. So we've got turquoise and peacock going on in there, which is really rather gorgeous. These are my colorways.
Nice, aren't they? Nice and bright.
Lots of people combine the which one, Producer Paul? The double! Oh, good. So the double is the one behind us, which is, Jane, you must have worked so hard to get all of this done.
It's actually, once you've got all your bits cut, and it's quite a production line, you can more or less chain piece the blocks. Do you know what I mean? It's it goes together quite quickly.
Quite therapeutic to just get in the zone and get going. So a lot of you going for this. We've never done this before. This is our experiment. You know, we like to experiment on a Monday for you. Which means that if you'd, for the first time ever, like to go for a double size. So a single is the 6. We've doubled it up. What I say to you about Quilt as you go, it's a modular system. Just keep adding to get the size that you want. But today we've put the fabric proportions in the right proportions for you so that you can create this stunning piece. Good job, Jane.
So I'm just pressing these now, and I literally am pressing them. Try not to iron, because with it being on the bias,
you could be in all sorts of wibbly wobbly fun.
It's actually, with this process, because we're going to trim these squares down, it's not as imperative. Mine are a bit.
We're trimming them down.
Yeah. If I was doing this myself, I would have cut the triangles to size at 3 7/8. But the recipe, the instructions tell you to cut them at 4, and I followed the instructions. And then you trim it down, which actually, in a way, gives you a little bit more accurate.
I'm kind of getting the feeling that this is. Do you want this?
Yes.
Would that help you?
It would.
Yeah, there we go. This is the rotating cutting mat, and this is exactly when it's perfect. But this is, I think, because you make them and you cut them back. Like you say, it's on the bias, so there is room for a bit of stretch or whatever to happen naturally, as does.
That's right.
I think this is doubly making sure it's kind of belt and braces, isn't it? That you're going to get the right size.
Yes. And it'll give you a degree of accuracy as well. Now what I do is the 45-degree line on the ruler, I place that along that diagonal line and then line it up with the 3.5. Now that's pretty much, because my cutting this morning was a bit wonky.
It was early.
It
I mean,
was
to be
early,
fair,
yeah.
Jane,
So
you
that
were cutting at 6 a.m.
It doesn't need trimming at all. So let's try it with one that does. The 45-degree line on the diagonal, there we go, that's better. And line it up with the edges, that's the 3.5 mark there.
Yeah.
So the 45 degrees on that diagonal sewn line, and then you can just trim that. And this, I should have used a square ruler really. You can then rotate your mat round.
And you're not having to reposition everything, are you?
And then you're not cutting across yourself either, which obviously has safety
implications.
That's right.
The rotating cutting mat, £32.95. Fabulous. Pauline in Staffordshire says, hi, how many quilt as you go packs do I need to make king size quilt with some overhang at the sides? Maths, Monday maths.
Monday maths. Well, they're 12-inch blocks.
Okay.
So, and then you've got an inch and a half, I think it is, sashing in between.
So, okay, so
depending on how big your king size you want it to be.
So you've got 36 inches across there, plus, was this an inch and a half?
Yeah.
So you've got 39 inches. That's 39 inches across side to side. Oh no, hang on, plus a half an inch on the end. So basically 40 inches across. And so you get 2 of those per pack. There you go. So if you want to do a king and with overhang, if you work out how much that is and know that each bit there is going to be 40 inches, give or take.
I don't know how big a king size is, but maybe 6 by 6 would do it. So you're looking at what? Six packs, aren't you?
It's one of those things, how much overhang do you want? So the best I can do is say that's from there to there is 40 inches. So then however many you want to then add on. Yeah. 4 packs would do you a 6 by 6 foot, not inch.
No, that'd be a bit small.
That'd be tiny.
Tiny.
Doll's house size. Yeah. Although the miniature quilts at Festival of Quilts were quite something.
I saw one of the overall winning ones, and that was the miniature, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the work in that was just
amazing.
Phenomenal.
Just amazing. Would you like a small
square ruler would be really helpful.
Amy, do you have a little one tucked up your sleeve somewhere, please? Amy's on the case.
She's a star.
She's a good one this morning, running around all over the place. And so just trim these down. But I think if you've made all of these, you'll just get into the swing, won't you?
Yes.
Here she goes. She's running. It's good job she's got her trainers on this morning. She's actually running. There we go. Does that help?
That's much easier, isn't
it? There you go.
So you've got the 1/2 inch mark on here as well. So, and it's actually got the 3.5 mark on it. So you can really line that up really well.
That's your joy of your creative grids.
And of course, creative grids have got the lovely
non-slip grip.
Non-slip grip on them.
This is where they come into their own, isn't it? This is where you really realise that these rulers are made for quilters, by quilters, for quilters. That's right. The way around.
Yeah.
We know what I mean. We've had an image through. Oh, excellent. Lorraine says, she sent us a picture of her quilt as she's gone. Now, I think that's sophisticated strips. That was one of the bundles that we had, wasn't it? Oh, fabulous. That was the monochrome one that we did. Isn't that gorgeous?
I love that, with that flash of pink in the middle.
Is that on the floor or is that hanging on a wall? Is that on the floor? But it looks stunning as a wall hanging, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
You see, we can't have, like, white or cream carpets in our house. That's a no-no.
Not with a
all
great
the animals.
thing.
No. Lorraine, thank you for that. Stunning. You see, you're a clever bunch out there. Very clever bunch. But it's lovely because it means you're getting them, you're making them, and they're looking absolutely spot on. So when we've cut all of these,
we're then going to sew them into pairs, and we sew them into pairs with the lighter colour together.
Okay.
And again, a bit of chain piecing. You might want to pin this because it's done in such a way that you haven't got nesting seams. So
I see what you mean. That's where they slot in.
yeah, so just line it up and just check that you're together with your
Do you line up your stitching?
I look at the seam underneath, so
Okay.
I'm just lining that up because I can see the seam underneath. So
Right, I'm with you.
I'd rather line that up than line the edges up because you can see there
yeah.
those edges are a bit wonky this morning.
That's all right. There's a little bit of give when you sew it onto the actual block, isn't there?
Yes.
That's what I love about Quilt As You Go. It's a little bit more forgiving, and I think that's why it's brilliant for beginners. But then professionals alike, you know, people who've been quilting for years and years and years, it's one of those really satisfying things because actually easy to go. And, you know, we're selling these, you get 6 blocks per pack unless you're going for the double, in which case you'll get 12 blocks. But that doesn't have to be. We had a guest the other day that did it as a table runner, that put 4 together as a table runner and then had 2 as placemats.
Brilliant idea.
So you could do it as a lap quilt and then you could have a couple of cushions. Jules in Greater London says, UK king size, here we go, a lady that knows, is 5 foot, which is 60 inches. So need 5 packs plus 1 for the overhang of 6 inches each size. Therefore, 6 packs width times length, says Jules. Jules, thank you. Monday morning maths challenge.
Yeah.
Gold star goes to Jules in Greater London.
Brilliant.
Right. Whilst you have... no, hang on. You just chain stitching down those sides.
Yeah, just down the edge.
I'm going to go show everyone the fabrics. Is that all right?
You go ahead.
Come with me.
I'm just going to press them open while you're doing that.
Oh, and she's going to press as well. It's a pressing matter. Now, Jane's beautiful quilt that she made for us, the double. Here's an image of it. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. And this is a Japanese-themed fabric. Some of these fabrics, first time to air. Woohoo! If you would like the king size, now I've had to write them down because 2 different ones, that's it, you know. It would bamboozle me this time in the morning. We've got 1.5 meters of the ecru. This is for the double pack, okay? So you get 2 quilts as you go, double pack, 1.5 meters of your ecru. You get 1 meter of this beautiful cherry blossom. You are going to get 1 meter of your linear. I love how fresh that is. You get 1 meter of dragonflies there. You get your thread, and then you're also going to get 2 meters of this. This is brand new today. Stunning. We had its white background counterpart on Wednesday last week, but this is brand new today. So that's the double pack. Yes, and that is $86.95. You get 6.5 meters of fabric in that, plus your 2 packs of wadding. Now, you can get this beautiful fabric, and let me just show you. And actually, I don't know if we're allowed to do this, but producer Paul, he's feeling a bit rebellious today. This is what 1 meter. Yeah, there's 1 meter. That's what 1 meter is going to look like. I think this would make a beautiful blouse, actually. I think that's gorgeous. So that's $5.95 per half a metre. Yay! Now, let's have a look at all of the Quilt As You Goes that you can think of. Well, I say that you can think of, that we had on the system. So let's go through these. Would you like to show, have we got the Rolling Stone by itself, or is that only in packs? We have. Let's show you the Rolling Stone as it is. So if you love that pattern, but you've got fabric that you want dedicated, you know, maybe it's a different colourway for your home, then $8.95 gets you one of those. There you go. That's that one, $8.95 for that. Now, let's go, well, that is my Rolling Stone, I've got that there. It's an early morning. Let's have a look at your London Labyrinth. Now, your London Labyrinth is $11.95. This is a different wadding. This is 80/20. That's what the price difference is because it's cotton, not polyester. So that's $11.95 London Labyrinth. We've done that on the show as well. Now, the next one is this one, which is your sophisticated stripe. Or strip. There's no E on it, is it? Sophisticated strip. There it is. $11.95. And then the last one is your Paris on point. Amy, are you standing by with examples of some of these? Yeah. You've got Paris on point for me? Have you? Oh, she has. She's just having a quick rummage. I'm going to show you what this looks like in the flesh. Oh, now, this is the one. I believe it was Joy did this, and she did it as a table runner. See, you can do it like that. Lovely, isn't it? That's your Paris on point. So you don't have to do it as a traditional quilt. You can do it as table runners, or you could have it as you could have them all as table mats. Now, hopscotch. Let's have a look at hopscotch. There we go. This is your hopscotch. Now, physically, it looks like this. $8.95 for that. And that's what it looks like in the flesh. Of course, in whatever colorway you go for. So that is your hopscotch. Yeah. Fair and square is next. Let's see what we've got for fair and square. It's fair and it's square. Thank you, my love. Here we go. Oh, love this one. Isn't that pretty? Lovely. So that's $8.95 for your fair square quilt. Beautiful. There we go. And then the last one to show you is your mosaic. Oh, can I just show you the back of some of these? I should have shown you the back. You should know what the backs look like. That's all right. I'll show you later. Okay. Mosaic magic. Ba -ba 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 -ba. Yay! There you go. That's your mosaic magic. Lovely. And this is what the backs look like, you see, because you only ever quilt your 12-inch. So it's really easy to get under your machine. There's obviously a few threads on here. If it had been in my house, there'd have been a cat hair, dog hair, everything else on there. There we go. Jane has patiently waited in the wing. Right. Fab!
So while you were doing that, I just sewed on 2 of the flying geese or
nice
half square triangle units I've made. I've just sewn
a square flying goose, isn't it?
On either side. Yes.
Nice.
Okay. The pink that we're using here, I'm just going to cut the square in half on the diagonal. I've got the 2 together layered up so I can cut them both at the same time, just to save a bit of time. So you end up with 4 triangles. So you've now got all your units ready to start constructing your block.
Perfect.
So you take your piece of wadding with your beautifully adhered piece of fabric on the back. Now the lines on here are not sewing lines, they're placement lines. So don't get worried that when you put your square on that it only comes to the edge and you haven't got enough room for your sewing. You work with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So just pin this square on. Don't pin it all the way through, just pinning it into the wadding.
Yes.
Just to hold it.
Now this is the key, isn't it? Because if you've done foundation piecing, it'll feel a little bit different.
Yes.
Take your foundation piecing head off, put it to one side.
Yeah.
And just know that this is the line you sew, sort of, you do your 1/4 inch in from.
Yes, you're just making sure that the fabric fits into that line. There are dashed lines on here. Again, they're not sewing lines, they're just placement lines, but it's where you've already sewn. So
it's where your geese are going.
It's where the seams are going, if you like. A little tip for you, to make sure that you get your triangle in the middle, because you're then going to place your triangle on here. If you just fold your square in half and pinch the sides, just pinch them edge to edge, just so it's in half, and then fold it the other way and do the same thing, just pinch in, just to make a little crease. When you place your square in the middle and pin it just to hold it, just through the wadding and holding it on, you can then fold your triangle in half along the underside.
Okay.
Pinch that. I mean, you could mark it with a fabric marker if you wanted to. But that just lines that up so you know that that's going to be in the middle.
Perfect, perfect. Whilst you pin that, Lynn in Carmarthenshire says, "Hi Tash and Jane, lovely as always. Spotted you at Festival of Quilts on Saturday but didn't get a chance to speak to you. Looked like fun. Oh Lynn, you should have come and said hello." Josephine sent a picture, but hello Lynn, lovely to hear from you. Thank you very much. This is fair and square as made by... Oh, Josephine, she's in the process of making it. Look at that. But thoroughly enjoying the process.
Oh, that's pretty.
Look at that beautiful fussy cut in the middle. Isn't that really pretty?
That's gorgeous fabric.
Good job. I love when people share. Fabulous.
It's really
Thank
nice
you.
to see what people make, isn't it?
Now, if you want to send us photos of your makes, and we do like to see them, because we're a nosy bunch here, studio@sewingquarter.com. That's the way to send them. If you're thinking, hang on a minute, I can't send it on the message box. You can't. You have to email it. Yeah. But we love to see it, so thank you. Please check out your basket, says producer Paul.
We're now going to sew 1/4 inch down either side of that seam.
Okay.
Keeping against the edge of the fabric. Now, another thing that I found quite confusing, and I'll show you because it's easier to show than when we do patchwork. Generally, we just sew from edge to edge. So we start on the edge of the fabric and we just sew all the way down.
Yeah.
Which is what you would do when you were doing your piecing.
Yes.
But what I quickly realised is if you do this, you're actually going to not have a square quilted line in the middle.
Okay. So what do we need to do?
So what I was doing is I sew, because you've got this dashed line, I was sewing it to that dashed line there.
Oh, right, yeah.
But because at this point you've got the opportunity, you can unpick it slightly if you feel.
So you do it to the dash line?
So to that dash line, because that's where the
next one's going to come
1/4 inch is. And what I also did was I just pulled the top thread to bring the backing thread up and pulled that so that I didn't have any ends to sew in, because these are going to go...
This is your backing thread pulled through.
It's going to go into the seam. So you can see, you won't see it on this one because that looks fine this side, but when you come to sew the next one on, they're going to cross over.
Oh, okay. Because this is, of course, the quilting that you see from the other side.
Yeah.
So sew to that dash line. So you're just going to pull up a couple, aren't you?
Yeah, and then pull that backing thread. You can tie it off if you want to, but you're actually going to sew over it, so it doesn't really matter. And it just it's just a little tip to get, so you don't have to, saves you some time really. You've pulled your ends in.
Yes.
And they're going to be hidden inside the sewing, and you're probably going to sew over them anyway.
Okay. And that tip to sew to that dash line actually is a top tip, because then you get a really neat back as well. Because the thing with a quilt is I always want the back to be as interesting as the front.
That's right, yeah. And I mean, it would be interesting because you'd have a little cross hatch. So it's not the end of the world if you don't do it.
So it's personal preference.
Yeah. It's what you can live with, really, because we all know what we're like, whether we can live with a little bit of a non-square on the back or whatever. So you finger press that back, push it back, and it should fit into into that line there. And again, don't panic because it's your fabric placement line, it's not your sewing line. So don't think, oh no, it's not big enough, I'm going to not be able to sew on it.
That's exactly where it's meant to be. Do not panic. You are so right in everything that you've done. So don't panic at home. The other thing to mention is prepping your fabric with Best Press Spray is a great idea. It's what is recommended in there in the instructions, because you're not ironing your seams open once you get going. They do recommend a starch spray. We recommend the Best Press Spray because you don't get white flaky bits on it. It's great. It's $4.95 and it's on the website. We've got 3 different flavours. Take a look.
Yeah, having it starched really does help.
Which just means that then when you press it back, it's
and
all
particularly
lovely.
when you're cutting a diagonal on a square because the starch prevents the fraying as well.
Does it? Because
And keeps it solid, so again you haven't got so much play on your bias.
Ah, okay. Because you can get sort of seam stop type stuff, can't
Yes,
you?
can,
But that scares me a bit, so I would rather go with a best press.
So what I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to aim to start where that seam is.
Okay.
Just so that I don't get that bit of a crossover on the back, so I end up with a square. And again, don't worry that you haven't gone over your seam, because you're going to be sewing across that anyway when you come to put the next piece on.
Right.
So although it won't be attached as such, which is what we're not used to, it's a bit alien.
It's one of those things, isn't it? This might be the first type of quilting that you ever do, because you don't need to have an all singing or dancing machine, because you're only working with a 12-inch square every time, and it's quilted as you go, so you're not left with a massive quilt to then actually quilt, a large patchwork to actually quilt at the end. You can do this with your smaller machines. You absolutely can do this on any machine, and that's the real joy of this. This isn't. It's inclusive.
Yes, and
that's it.
You're certainly not wrestling with a great big quilt
Which
that you
is
end
lovely.
Up draping around your shoulders and wearing for most of the time.
It's a look.
It keeps you warm
Yeah,
while you're quilting.
absolutely. And in summer, that's what we need, because someone switched on winter already.
I know.
We've got 10 minutes left, Jane.
Oh my gosh.
I know. That's how fast we go this morning. That's how fast these shows always seem to go. It's like a time warp in here, isn't it?
It is. It's crazy. So the next one to do is the flying goose unit, the star. Again, same way, fragment placement lines up against the edge there. You've got this little, I've pressed the seams open. Again, it's not normally something I would do, but I found that reduced some of the bulk in that corner. And it also helped because you've then got these lines here that show that you're in the right place. It sort of helps as a guide. I mean, that's not very straight, but you can still see that seam line lines up with that.
That's where it's headed. It's headed flying in the right direction.
We're in the right place.
Yeah.
Just double check that you have got it the right way up, because the amount of times that I sewed it on the wrong way up when I was prepping, I was just like, this quilt is deigned to cause me frustration. But we got there, and it looks lovely. I was definitely having one of those days on Saturday.
Do you know we all have them though?
Yeah.
And the thing is that if you're not prepping for a show, you can actually just step away.
Yeah,
when you're prepping for a show, there's no choice. You've got to work your way through it. I often think that once you start with one of those days, there you've got to sort of take a deep breath, haven't you?
Yeah.
We've got a message from Eileen who says she would like to see some tips on fixing the backing. She's used a steam iron but is struggling. Eileen. The tip that Jane gave this morning is to very gently hold your steam iron above without the backing on. And then that kind of activates the glue, and then put the backing on and very, very gently steam. But do be careful. If you are at all worried about ironing this, because it's polyester, you don't want to get the heat on it because it will just shrink it. If you're at all worried, then just get yourself one of the spray adhesives. That's, and then just spray it on, and then you're not having to worry, and you're going to get the full bounce of this wadding. But that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's, don't be frightened of it, but at the same time, just, give it a really good steam, but try and hold it above the.
So it's not actually pressing it. As soon as you press it, then you run the risk of actually squashing the fibres, don't you? So steam the back, then add the backing, steam again, but don't press down. And I hope that helps, Eileen.
And if it still doesn't work, get the spray adhesive out.
Open the windows and spray.
Yeah.
Just all I would say is put something down on the floor if you're doing it indoors, and don't spray it onto your carpet and then have to wash your carpet.
Has somebody done that?
I might have done.
And make sure the dog's out the way, because they like to get underneath, and then they're all sticky as well.
Yeah, I think my spaniel Arthur then rolled all over the carpet. So it was fun. I love a bit of extra housework, me. It's all good fun.
It is good fun.
Yeah, you learn, though, don't you?
You do.
Haven't done it again, that's for sure. Well, not that way. I've done it a better way. An image from who? From Andy. quilt ever made. Ooh. You see, now let's have a look at this, because this is looking lovely. Quilt as you go is perfect for beginners.
It is.
It really is.
It's a bit like painting by numbers. It really is.
Well, this is what we haven't mentioned, is that the reason that we know... Oh, that's Mosaic Magic. Oh, fab. The reason that we know where to add the fabric onto next is because it is numbered. So it is pretty much quilting by numbers. I think sometimes when you start quilting, it's how to put these things together. It's knowing that you've got to do several blocks and make them look the same. That can be a bit intimidating, especially if you're like me and sometimes your cutting's a bit wonky. But this is perfect. Perfect.
This is really forgiving if your piecing isn't as accurate or your cutting isn't as accurate as you might like it. You know, it's all hidden underneath and nobody's ever going to see it.
No, it's your own little secret. I like to think of it as an extra layer of, insulation. Penny in Devon says, good morning, I have a question. Which thread would you use for making the quilt as you go quilt, says Pen. Well, we give you thread. We give you thread in the kits. We use Gutermann here, which is a polyester thread. Some people, if they're working... So we also do the 80-20, which is the cotton wadding, 80% cotton, 20% polyester. Some people like to go with, if they're working with cotton through and through, like to put a cotton thread with it. Because you've got polyester wadding in here, we put a polyester thread in there. But the choice is ultimately yours.
So that's the block done.
Yes.
What I did, in the instructions, it's recommended to zigzag around it, but all you're doing is holding it down. So I just lengthened my thread and just went a scant 1/8 of an inch all the way around just to hold it.
There we go. So scant 1/8. What do we mean by scant 1/8? Is that like a skinny?
Just as
not
close to the edge as you can get without, actually not sewing on it, which I have done in places, but it holds it down.
Because you will come in a 1/4 of an inch. So as long as it's within that 1/4 of an inch seam allowance,
you're not going to see it.
Then and then that
it's
holds
like tacking
that in
it,
place.
I suppose, really.
Fab. And that's what you do around that.
Have we got time to show how to join them together?
Yes, we've got 4 minutes.
Oh, we've got ages yet then.
We'll have another quilt in that time.
So once you've got to this stage, you're going to then just trim all the way around. I'm not going to trim all the way around. I'm just going to do the one side for speed. But you would trim all the way around 1/2 an inch.
Now this is why when Jane said right at the beginning, save yourself some fabric. In the instructions it says to cut a 17-inch square, which gives you 2.5 inches spare all the way around.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a waste.
It's very wasteful. I mean, okay, once you've trimmed it off, you've got 2.5-inch strips, which you can use for something else. But I just thought that is wasteful.
So you did it to the...
I think I cut 15-inch squares because this is actually 14 inches or so, I can't remember now. But I think once you've trimmed it, because you trim it, once you've got it out to the pack, you trim 1 inch all the way around the block. So I think it's probably 14.5 and I did 15. So it was just a bit bigger because I knew that with the quilting it would pull it in.
And then, so actually you've saved yourself 2 inches. That adds up. So 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 6 inches per side. That's 12 inches of fabric you've saved.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Top tip, Jane.
It certainly helps, particularly for your squares at the back, because you'll get an
extra fabric for that.
You've got, sorry, I'm skipping ahead here. You're going to cut, and again, the instructions are here for your strips for your sashing. A 2-inch strip for the front, and a 3.5-inch for the back. The back strip, you fold in half lengthways. Yes, if you could just...
I am at the ready position to press.
Now, in the instructions it says, cut it 1/2 inch away from the line, on the placement line, and then mark 1/2 inch in. Well, you've got your placement line already there, so I didn't see the point of marking on the front, but it does help when you mark it on the back.
Okay. Quite warm. Oh, so's that. I'm doing well. Happy Monday, everyone.
So marking, and you would mark all the way around, but because I'm just joining the side strips on, I'm just going to mark. So you would do it all the way round, so you'd have a square inside, if you like.
Yes.
So you do that on all of your squares, and on this one, it's pretty much on that
pretty much is on that line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do it on the one for now. And it's just so that you've got a placement line, because for the first one, you're going to place your 2-inch strip right sides down, and you've got the placement line on there. I'm doing the wrong side because that's not trimmed down. You've got your placement line, and it comes a little bit over either side. So don't panic that you've got too much fabric. It's meant to do it, because you do trim it down, but because you've got the density of the wadding, it's going to pull it in a little bit.
Okay.
So although it hangs over a lot at the moment, when you've actually quilted it on, it doesn't hang on as much. So pin that on.
Yes.
Turn it over.
Yeah.
Your strip that is, look, I've marked this on the wrong side. Oh dear.
It's all right. It's
Happy
early.
Monday.
It's Monday. It's early
Happy
and
Monday.
Monday.
Happy Monday.
We've got a couple of seconds to do to wrap up.
I've done it on the wrong one.
That's all right. So you would basically put the raw edges on the other side, same place on the other side.
Yeah. You've got your placement line. You line it up, and you're going to sew 1/4 inch. So you'd line that up with that placement line there.
Pin it and sew it.
Pin it and sew it.
Jane, that's all we've got time for.
And it looks...
Hey! Oh,
that.
look at you! Just, another quick one that she's whizzed up while no one was looking. So that's what it looks like on the front. So on the back here, because you sewed, can I just take that pin?
Yeah, take that off.
So you see, you put your raw edge there. That's your raw edge, and you sew down there, and then you've got that flap.
And those pieces of wadding, because they're 1/2 inch, they butt up together. You don't want them overlapping. Don't worry if there's a bit of a gap, but you don't want them overlapping because they'll make it bulky.
And then over there, and then your hand stitch, as Jane's mum did, down there. Fab.
And
Thank
then
you
it's
so
the same
much.
process then to join the rows together.
Jane, you're an absolute star.
You're welcome.
But we will see you in an hour's time.
Yes.
When we are making beautiful tulips. Gorgeous. This is the finished quilt. That is the double. Lots of you going for the double today, and I don't blame you. If you're going for the double, then you are getting 1.5 meters of your ecru. You are getting 1 meter of this. You're getting 6.5 meters in total. You are, of course, getting 2 quilt as you goes. You're also getting 1 meter of your linear. You are also getting 1 meter of your dragonflies, first seen on Wednesday last week. And you are also getting 2 meters here. Now, this is brand new today. We haven't had this on at all yet today. That's your 2 meters of that gorgeous fabric there. All for $86.95. That will give you 2 quilts as you goes. These strip on and sew on together. LAGC 11 for that. If you would like, which would you like to look at next, Producer Paul? Do you know what? Let's show the single one of these, because we also have it as a single option as well. And if you would like that as a single option, then here we go. It's £70.45. You are going to get 1/2 meter of your ecru. That beautiful blossom, you're going to get 1 meter of that. You're also going to get 1.5 meters of that linear, of that green. And then you get 1.5 meters of those beautiful dragonflies and 1 meter of that blue blossom print there for £17.45. Now, most popular quilt as you go is the fair square. Oh no, hang on, we had that as an actual. I haven't got that as one of these. Here we go. Let's have a look at what it looks like. It's $8.95. That's your fair square, and that has been the most popular. I know which one that is. Let me find you that. Here we go. This is your fair square, I do believe. There you go. That's it. Please check out your baskets. That's what your fair square will make. There you go. JBEQ 79 for that. Please check out your baskets. There are lots and lots of quilts and things in there. Do check out your fabrics. Oh, check out your fabrics. Less than half the stock of this now available. We weren't meant to bring it to air. I did just spy one of the bosses in the corner of the studio. I'm not sure if we're about to get into trouble, but never mind. $5.95 for that. We just thought we'd bring it in because it's brand new today and rather lovely. Right. brand new guest coming up after the break, a man who will quite frankly give John Scott a run for his money in the shirt department. It's the very fabulous Paul Clarke coming up, and they called him Paul Scott. Paul Clarke coming up after the break. We will see you in just a couple of minutes. Grab a cup of tea and we'll see you in a minute. Follow us on Pinterest. Search for our Sewing Quarter page and follow us to discover sewing work we create and love.
So I'm going to be showing you how to do a slip stitch, which is basically a hemming stitch that is almost invisible on both the right and the wrong sides of the fabric. So I'm going to go in through my layers here, through the single hem. I'm going to leave a tail before doing my double stitch here. So I'm just going to go through one, twice there. That's giving me my double stitch or locking stitch, ready to then do my slip stitch. Okay, so first of all, you need to take the smallest amount of fabric. So you want at least 1 or 2 pieces of thread in the fabric before then going into the fold of your single hem. And you're going to run your needle through that fold before pulling it out. And then again, a couple of stitches. Bearing in mind I'm using a really big needle here because I'm using an embroidery thread, but you get the idea where you're just catching your material there before again placing your needle in through the fold of your single hem. So you want to keep these as even as possible. So I'm just doing my last stitch now. So here you can see that you can't really see the stitches from the back of the piece, so this would be the back of the trouser leg, the bit that you wouldn't see, and then from the front you should only see very small stitches, if not at all, if you're using the right needle and thread.
To celebrate my birthday, we've created 2 shows dedicated to my passion for fashion and penchants for pets. Join us on Tuesday the 15th of August at 8 AM for an hour of bag making fun featuring a birthday bundle of my favourite fabrics. The festivities continue at 10 AM with a show that's all about our 4-legged friends. Learn how to make a dog coat, bed and toy organiser using some adorable animal themed prints and matching solids. There'll be plenty of fun along the way, so don't miss Tash's Birthday Bash, Tuesday the 15th of August at 8 AM and 10 AM, only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78. Hello, welcome back now. As promised, brand new guest. Well, I was going to say fresh off the Sewing Bee. It's been a couple of years now, but Paul Clarke of Sewing Bee fame, yes, he is the man that made the elephant. If you watch the Sewing Bee, you know exactly what I mean. You'll be going, yes, I know. He's with us this hour. He's going to show us a make out of the Great British Sewing Bee book, which is this one here. We've got this. It's 1995. There they are. You get all the patterns in there, and look, this is what we are making this hour. We've got manly versions, we've got girly versions, we've got fun versions, we've got all sorts of versions, we've got baby versions. We've got every version under the sun. So this is the book. It's a fabulous book, and if you were a fan of the bee, it's 1995 EUSP 91. Now, this is what we're making today. This is what I mean by we've got a girly version, a lovely lady version here in a beautiful teal with chicks and eggs. I don't know which one came first, but it's on there. Now, to get this, it's $28.95, 2.5 meters of fabric in there, a huge amount. 1.5 meters of the chicks, 1 meter of that lovely duck eggy tealy colour, and you get your thread and these These little cheeky things, which are your D-rings, which is kind of what makes this. That's your adjusting part. And each of these kits has that. It has 1.5 meters of your feature fabric. There it is. Brilliant. Brilliant. Now, maybe you want that, but in green. And look, here we go. These are your chicks, just in a different colourway. So whichever colourway suits you. There they are. And again, you're getting your thread, you're getting green this time, a lovely sage green there. 32.45 ZQGC 36 for that one, for your yellow chicks. Now we've got stripes. If you want that kind of classic butcher's apron type look, then we've got some fab ticking. Now, this orange, love this orange. And it's not often that we bring you ticking on the show, but you are going to get 1.5 meters of your ticking and then 1 meter of the orange so that you can do all your binding in there. Brilliant. 24.95. Now grey is next. Love this. Maybe you're just a fan of the ticking. You just need to get that ticking. There we go. And then that is your grey that's going to bind it. 24.45. And then we've got a lovely light blue. Really lovely. So if you're after your ticking, grab that. And then the blue that corresponds for your binding, matching beautifully there. 24.45 YBGC71. So pick the fabric that you love. If you've got the book, great, follow along. But it's all about our brand new guest. Come with me. There it is, that's what we're making. Now, Paul Clarke, hello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Lovely. Now, I said my introduction for you was you are going to give John Scott a run for his money with his shirts. Give us a twirl. Yay! You made that.
I did, yes. I thought, well, I've got to come and make some shirts that are going to match John's shirts. So
yes.
I went for it.
Raising that bar.
Yes.
Now, and ironically, we actually have that fabric.
Exactly, yes.
So know that if you're going, oh, hang on, I recognise that, then it's here. Look at this, $3.55 for half a metre.
Bargain.
This wasn't meant to be on the show today.
I know.
But we put it on for you because we know that as soon as you see a fabric, you want it. Here it is. So you too can have a shirt. That's it on white. Now, we've got it on black because... Ta-da! We made these on a show with Jennifer Taylor.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
They're not quite my size, I'm going to be honest. I'm breathing in this hour and regretting fish and chips yesterday. But apart from that, it's all good. $3.55 for it on black. Now, Paul, we're going to dive straight into this and then I'm going to quiz you as we go.
Right.
Both on the make and about your life.
Okay. I'll be good.
Yeah. The pattern is in the book.
Yes.
You'll need pattern paper to make your own pattern of it.
Yes, it comes actually drawn out in the book. It's very, very small size. So if you want to do it as a tiny size, you can actually do it from that. And if you make that out, the lines there. It's on a grid. It's on a, says it's a very small grid, but each small square is 1 centimetre. So you can use your grid paper,
Yes.
I've used it here, to size it up.
Fab. And then you've always got that pattern then, haven't you?
Yes, yes. So
I have a whole folder of patterns that I've made for myself.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
So this is it sized up. And if you want pattern paper, check out the website because we've got pattern paper on there. But there it is. It's a bit like graph paper you used to have at maths, isn't it?
Yes, it might be like being back at school.
Yeah. Each sort of heavier line is 5 centimetres and you just
the one.
count it out from there.
Yeah.
There we go. If we are going to make a pattern like that,
Yeah.
I'm noticing this
The
sneaking underneath.
French curve.
If you're not a dressmaker,
Yes. It will look weird. It will look strange.
yes, I'm going to give it to you because I'm not a dressmaker.
It does have a straight edge for any people that are just used to using a rule. But this is used for drawing your armhole, basically, or any curves on any pattern that you're cutting out. So basically, you will find a curve that suits where you want your arm shape to be. So you can actually change it if you need a deeper armhole or a narrower one.
Oh, nice.
So you
But it
just lay it
gives
there,
you-
and you've got a solid line to draw against then.
And it gives you that graduated curve rather than
Yes.
having to make it up.
Yes. I mean, you could draw it by hand, but it'd be very rough and ready.
You could. You could do a lot of things.
Well, exactly,
But
yes.
this-
But that's
Yeah.
the standard way of doing it.
Excellent. So that's 995 CFGQ 58. That's for the Imperial. We've got it in metric as well, so whichever way works for you. Brilliant. So when we've done the pattern,
Okay.
what do we do?
Right. This pattern is just half of the apron. You also need to cut a pocket piece as well, which it gives you side dimensions for that in the book. That is, do we do centimetres or inches?
Well, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 centimetres
30
across.
centimetres by 27 centimetres down.
It's the joy of the graph
There
paper.
you go, yes,
Yeah.
it's already counted it out for you.
Every apron needs a pocket.
Yes,
Vital.
yes.
Good.
You
I'm
never
glad
know
we've got a
what
good
you find
sizable
in
one.
it. You know, but probably bits of food after you finish cooking, but you know,
anything.
part of the fun. Part of the
Absolutely.
fun. The pattern placing for the pocket is actually marked on.
Oh, so
Yeah,
no
cool.
guesswork.
I've used a bit of guesswork because I've been working with ticking, and it's got lines, so you can mark lines to match up on. So I've tried to make it even when I've been matching it on. But again, with the chicks, I tried to do a pattern match, but didn't always come out. Bit of variety, that's what we need, bit of
Producer
variety.
Paul says he's all about the chicks.
Yes. So the pattern comes in half, so obviously you're cutting it out on a fold. And you've got your fold line marked on the pattern, put this on the fold of your fabric.
Ace.
And then off you go. Cut round the edges, and
It's quite a
you
nice,
end up-
simple shape, isn't it?
it is it's quite simple, not too many strange things to do. It must always seem odd whenever you're doing any clothing. It always seems like it's far too big when you first cut it out. So this is the actual size of it once it's cut out, and it always looks like it's going to be far bigger than you need.
I love the ticking.
I do. It's been
I
really
have
nice
to
to
say.
work with.
Has it been easy to work with?
Yes, it has.
Good.
Yes.
Good. The ticking for me is that classic striped apron. Never going to go out of fashion.
Yep.
It's always there. Masculine, feminine, doesn't matter. Anybody can wear it.
Indeed.
Because apparently it's summer.
You'd think so, wouldn't
Apparently. So barbecue season, obviously.
Perfect.
Then, you know,
Yep.
hubbies can wear it too.
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. So we've got it all cut out. It's
Yep.
looking big, but it's fine. What happens next?
I always like to prepare everything I need first, so there was bias binding to prepare as well. So,
This is the ultimate in bias. Whoa!
like the bright colours.
There's a lot of bias binding to make, isn't there?
There was 3.5 metres of it.
Any top tips for the old bias binding?
Top tips for the bias binding. Careful when you're cutting it out that you make sure you're cutting long enough strips. When I first did on the practice one, I cut small strips, so I got lots of joins.
Okay.
So I learned.
Paul, is
But,
that
yeah.
a problem?
No, literally it was fold your fabric on the diagonal,
Right.
and then use your big cutting mat and your rotary cutter. Your bias binding.
Should we
this
show? Let's
so-
show, because this is
Okay.
quite a big part of this. And if you get your bias binding, if you're getting a muddle with your bias binding,
Yes.
if you have a big cutting mat like this,
Yep.
then it's lovely and easy.
Okay, so good with a piece of material. Let's use this. So, for example, we're doing this with for the binding. That looked good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll probably do this. Will disappear behind my shirt now. So you fold on the diagonal.
Okay.
because
So
it's basically that's your bias.
have it selvage to selvage, and then fold diagonally like that.
Fold that way.
And this is what you're going to do with your plain fabric.
Yes.
So out of all of the out of all the bundles, the binding is in the plain fabric. Your pattern fabric is your main part of your apron.
Yep.
The plain in each of the bundles is, and you get a metre of it, is this. So when you've got your triangle.
You've got your triangle, then you want to cut 3.5 inches. What are we looking at? 6 centimetres, 7, 3.5.
Okay.
9 centimetres.
Yeah.
So say, for example, 9 centimetres. You're cutting it along that edge.
Oh,
now
you're
that
cutting it
will
along
give you
here.
that will give you 2 lots. So I would cut it along there.
Yep.
And then cut that piece in half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Top tip.
So
right.
yeah. So you're cutting. That's your measuring.
Yeah.
Go along, mark it all out. Cut with your rotary cutter. You get a nice
You're going
clean edge and going along this
there.
line here, this imaginary line. I needed to cut 3 strips of
Okay.
that. So
Okay.
that will cut 2 once you've cut that in half.
Yes.
Cut another one, and then you've got to join them together.
Now, of course, you cut on the bias because, if I can just show, there it is. And look, you've got that give.
That stretch.
Yeah. Now, this fabric isn't the one that we're working on today. It's just been brought out in honour of your shirt and my trousers.
And the legs.
I've had so many costume changes today.
Indeed.
It was like, legs not included, yeah. Now, those fabrics are £3.55, I believe, per half a metre. They're now on the website underneath where you can watch live.
Okay. Right, bias binding. I didn't have a big enough bias binding maker at home.
You didn't make 3.5 metres by hand.
I did. And only afterwards, somebody mentioned, did you use the ironing board method? I thought, well, I did use an ironing board, but and then they showed me the ironing board method, which was very good.
Hey, what is the ironing board method?
It involved putting pins on your ironing board either side, if you haven't got the binding maker.
Yeah.
And you thread it through underneath the pin.
Oh.
So your pin would be either side. So, for example,
That
you've
sounds
got...
a bit technical to me.
You have a pin, and I put a pin there,
Yeah.
and it comes across. So your pin would be like that.
Okay.
And you're basically pulling your bias binding underneath and ironing it as it comes out.
Oh.
It's similar to that. It would come out the same way. But because I didn't know that method, I literally...
You folded it in half?
There's your 3.5 inches. You fold it in half once.
Yep.
Iron all that.
Yep.
3.5 metres of that.
Yeah.
Yep. Then fold it in again, iron all that.
Yep.
Another 3.5 metres.
Yep.
And there is your bias binding.
If you would like to do that in an easier way, I can massively recommend the Bias Binder Maker.
Yes.
Yes. Which saves you all of that. And basically, this is what happens. You thread your fabric through and you press. Now, this one here is your 25 mil. Okay, so that is going to give you... That is 25 mil, so that's an inch across there. So it's going to give you a finished edge of 1/2 inch, because you'll fold that again. My top tip, and I've learned from experience with this, as it comes out, just press. I used to start off going with my iron. It distorts, because of course it's on the bias.
Yes.
You can get away with it if you've cut it straight, but if you've cut it on the bias, just press. Then pull along, like that, zip. Press, zip, press, and you can pull it by that. And fab piece of kit.
Great tool. Yes,
would have saved you.
Would have saved me probably a good hour. So, and they do come in the larger size as well. So
They do on the website.
Indeed.
But thanks
Okay.
for doing it the long way.
At least I can explain it then. Always good to get the tools for the job. Yes, does make the job easier. So that is your bias binding. So everything's prepared. You needed 3.5 metres of the bias binding.
Okay.
And that gets cut into 2 strips.
Okay.
Obviously one for each side. The strip, I've actually put little labels on so I know which is which.
I love this. Some of our guests are so organised, and I get myself in a bit of a mess. I'm not going to lie, I'm not the most organised person in the world. I aspire to be, not happening. What have you labelled?
I've labelled this. You've got one long strip and one shorter strip. Somewhere, shorter strip. I've also put on, this is one end of it, and you've got the other end, which is the D-ring end.
Right.
Okay. There is also...
How do they differ?
Right. They don't differ at all. They're both squared off. So that another way of preparing it, you fold over 1 centimetre or thereabouts.
Can I just show that?
Yep.
There. So folding over 1 centimetre or there or
Yep.
thereabouts, yeah.
And then fold that in on itself again,
Mm-hmm.
and then fold over again. And just tie these in the raw ends. Then we're going to stitch those ends together.
Okay.
Probably a bit neater than that, but we'll get there.
That's all good.
So I put a little label on knowing that that's the long one, because this is the piece that goes up the left side and comes up and around the neck.
Shall we show this on a smaller version?
Yes, here's one I
love
prepared
this.
earlier.
Paul loved this so much. He made a mini-me one.
One for Little Daddy's helper.
I love it. I love it. Did you have this fabric left over?
This was left over from the amount in the bundle.
Look at that. Because you are sizing up
Yes.
from the pattern, you can make it any size you wish. But you see, this is the size. So let me just show. This bias binding is also going to be your tie strap.
Yes.
So it comes all the way up here and around to there. That's why you have one long one. You go all the way up there, and then you have a shorter one, which is the other side there.
Yeah.
So the longer one goes round your neck. That's the halter neck
and then
bit.
it gets the D-rings attached to the longer one.
Ah.
And then the shorter one hooks through the D-rings.
We tried this on every stuffed toy in the building. We've had so much fun this morning. We even tried it on the unicorn, didn't we?
That didn't
you might
work.
have to just
that
model
didn't
that
work.
for a minute.
And the dinosaur.
And the dinosaur, yeah, no, it looked quite good on the dinosaur because it was the same sort of colour as his things, as his spikes. There we go. We'll just put them on that for a minute.
I've also put another pin in. It says 33.5 inches away from the end that it's going to be the tie around the back.
Okay.
And that is where you start to attach it to the underarm.
So that's your fabric marker
So that's
for fabric
my
starts
marker
here.
for knowing where to start to attach it to the apron. And that is 33.5 inches. So that will go on that side. Mm-hmm. And that literally sandwiches in all the raw edges of the apron.
And then do you just pin that in?
And just pin that.
Or wonder clip
and we
it
can
in.
stitch along. And then this bit is the top bit.
Let's do it.
Simple.
Let's do it.
Simples.
Let's pin.
But before we do that,
okay.
before we do
I'm
that,
jumping ahead.
we have
I'm
to
getting
do
excited.
all the hemming of the raw edges of the apron.
Right.
So this is the side edges, the bottom edge, and the top edge.
So they're not all bound. So the bias binding is literally for the armpit and round and the fixings.
Yeah, it's for the ties itself and the necktie and the binding the arm.
Excellent.
And again, that's where main use for bias binding is binding curves, because it bends. That's why it's cut on the bias.
Yes.
So good stuff.
Brilliant. How are we making these hems then down the side?
Hems are a double fold hem. So ironed it over once, ironed it over again, and then stitch all the way down. Now you can miter the edges.
Oh, hang on. He's getting technical on us. First show and he's getting technical. Right, explain the miter. The mighty miter.
Which way up are we? That way?
That way,
That way. Okay, mitering the edges. I've just drawn these lines on. These are your press lines. So I've pressed it once, pressed it again.
Yeah.
Done the same with the bottom hem.
Yes.
Open it up. Now then, I've drawn on with one of those erasable pencils. Didn't have one. The lines that I've just ironed in.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to cut off that diagonal edge between those outer lines.
Okay.
So rotary cutter, scissors, whatever.
Measure twice.
Okay.
Cut
measure
once.
twice. Yes, I've already measured the other edge, so I know I'm sure on that one. This is all going to be tucked inside, so it doesn't matter if you're not too even on that one.
Excellent. Now, all these instructions are in the book.
They are.
Even the mitering?
Even the mitering,
Hey,
yes.
good,
yes.
good.
So that gets folded in once.
So fold in on that diagonal
in
first.
on that first diagonal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you can fold in that end and that end.
Oh, that's neat.
Okay.
If you've got wonder clips or anything like that.
They'd be good for this, yes.
Yeah.
They would be good for this.
I'm a big fan of a wonder
You
clip.
like the wonder clip.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
And then fold in and in again.
So because you're double hemming as well.
Because you're double hemming, it's taking out some of the bulk by doing a mitre, because otherwise it would be, you'd have about 6 layers of fabric there to fold through, which would be a little bit too much. And then pin that. Now, because this corner is coming out at a point, it's not a true straight corner, then you might not get a complete join on the mitre there.
So don't panic.
You do on the pocket. Yeah, don't panic. On the pocket.
Did you mitre the pockets as well? Do we mitre pockets?
Yes.
Get you.
Yes. But on the pocket, it's only one fold. It's not a double fold, because this is going to be sewn. That'll be the inside of the pocket.
Have you always sewn?
Oh, as far back as I can remember, yes. Yeah, probably about 30 years.
Really?
Tell my age now.
And so, how did you learn these things? Because these are the next step up. I mean, you learn to sew in a straight line, and then you get those techniques.
Yeah.
So where did you learn these techniques? Because you can't be a professional going on the Great British Sewing Bee, can you? That's
No,
like the
not
big
at all.
no-no.
No,
you
it's
can't
all-
have done any kind of professional sewing in order to enter.
No, it's all either self-taught or night school classes, I think, something like that. Yeah, it's all self-taught. I watched my mother for years and years and years.
Was she a great seamstress?
She made everything, yes.
Really?
She made all her own clothes. She made stuff for my brother and I when we were little. So she's been sewing for years. So I picked up a lot watching her. So yeah, that's where a lot was learnt. And then any time I wanted to know something else, it's literally, right, pick a pattern that's got something different in.
Right.
And then it's something else to learn.
So, and now here you are teaching us, but that's the joy. I mean,
Yes.
you are brave, because I know a lot of people, including myself, will shy away from new things because I want to get it right.
Yeah.
And there's that worry about, oh, what if I waste fabric? But give it a go. You're
Oh,
going to
yes.
love it anyway.
Yes. Have a practice on some cheaper fabric or some scrap fabric.
Oh, bedsheet or something.
Bedsheet,
Have a go at that.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, wonderful. So, yes, pockets, right. This, start off doing the pocket. Start off with an easy piece. Straight sewing. Get your confidence. Then you go on to your curvy
What
stuff.
level is this?
This, I would say, is sort of intermediate. Cause
And is that just because of the bias?
the bias, yes. But straight sewing is literally putting there's only 2 pieces and your bias binding. So it's advanced beginner. Or adventurous beginner. That's a good
yes,
one.
that's the
I like
phrase.
that one.
So if you're an adventurous beginner and you've got... So this is it. So if you can sew in a straight line...
Yes.
And you actually fancy learning a new skill, because you're going to be a whiz at bias binding by the time that you finish this. And actually, bias binding is one of those things, demystify it.
Yeah.
By the time you've done 3.5 metres of it, there is no fear. But it was a fear I had.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, you know, silly, but it was. And for me, I learnt how to do bias bindings on dog coats. And that was...
Yeah, and a lot of edges through dog coats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the time I'd done a few of those...
And I bet the dog didn't really notice.
No, he rolled in it. He didn't care.
He didn't care.
No,
they
he
don't,
didn't care.
do they?
Yeah.
So, should we do some sewing?
Yes. Yes,
Right.
let's.
Right. First time.
I love
Okay.
that this orange, this burnt orange, is really rather fab. Because normally your classic butcher's apron is sort of white and red, isn't
White
it?
and red, yes. I think the red is just to cover any stains.
Yes.
Okay, so with the pocket, it says
Is that really why? Is that really why the butcher's apron
I think
is
it's to
white?
cover the blood stains so you don't notice the blood.
Nice. No, you haven't doubled over this.
I haven't, because this is going to be inside the pocket. So
Okay.
you won't see this. You could double over, but it's just going to add a little bit more bulk.
Okay.
So I'm going to go right to that mitre
The mighty mitre.
and needle down around the corner. I always pin level with the edge of the material where I'm sewing.
Yeah, now why is that?
It's what I've always done, it's what I've always learned, but also it gives me a sewing line to look for. It gives me a visual sort of line to know I can sew along then.
It's funny, isn't it? Everybody does have
We all have our own ways.
their different ways.
Yeah. So people always say, well, why'd you do it that way? Why'd you do it that way? And it's just, I've always done it that way.
That's just the way. Yeah. And especially if you learnt from a parent that way.
Yes.
Then it is ingrained over many, many years, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's your favourite thing to make?
Shirts.
Shirts. Did you want a second to think about that? Shirts. Straight in with the shirts.
Yeah, got to be my shirts. Because I love bright colours. Never shied away from a bright colour. And the first shirt I made was before I went on the sewing bee. So that was one of my my projects, to actually show them this is what I can sew.
Hang on a minute.
And that was my first one.
Your first shirt, had you not made lots and lots of shirts before you decided, hey, no, great, show me, what a great idea, I'll apply for that?
No.
So a sports physiotherapist by training.
Yep.
So good with your hands anyway?
Yes.
Okay. What made you apply?
I watched season 1 and I thought, oh, that's really interesting. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Never thought any more about it and just sort of carried on thinking, oh, yeah, I enjoyed that. Season 2 came along and it was, I think I could do that. Sure, I could make that. And then I was round at a friend's one day and she said, come on, let's go and get this application form done. So jumped on a computer and we had about, I think, 3 days before the deadline.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cutting it fine?
It was cutting it fine a bit. So sent my form in, sent some pictures in. Next thing, get a phone call saying, yeah, come along.
Now, your season was quite male-heavy, wasn't it?
The
men did well.
Exactly. There were 4 of us. Yeah, 4 of us. And the 4 got through. At the end, there were more men than women when we got down to 7 of us.
It seems to be a bit like chefing, doesn't it? You get lots of male chefs, and it seems to be,
It's almost like the other way round, though, with chefing. Oh, quick one. All I've done now, I've folded over the top of the pocket. Now, this is a double fold on the top of the pocket.
Paul, is the ticking going in the opposite direction on the pocket, then?
Yes, I've done the ticking going down on the apron itself, and I've done the ticking going across on the pocket, so it's a bit more of a contrast. As you can see on the little one. Yes.
Here, modelled so beautifully by our unicorn. I love this. I love that you did this. Proper little mini one.
A bit of popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, keeps hiding.
Do you know what? We like to challenge our guests by making them sew standing up. It's all good fun.
It's new to me, this standing up sewing. I think I did some at the weekend, and I thought, they gave me a higher table to work on. I thought, right, that is good practice. Yeah,
no, it is a nice high table. This is a great height for me. Some of our shorter guests go, I can't quite cut on it.
Like me, I'm not a tall guest. So it's good height for me. So with the ticking, it actually said to do exact measurements on this. It said, I think, a 2 centimetre fold over. But what I've done is just made sure that I haven't got a wonky line across the top because that would be so visible on the ticking.
Yes,
so
wouldn't it?
That's what I've aimed for. And I've tried to get a little bit neat across the bottom.
It's one of these things, isn't it? You've done it beautifully. There we go. You can see that. Beautifully done there. Absolutely straight. So, yes, follow the pattern, but also use a bit of common sense.
Yes. Use your imagination sometimes. And some patterns, it looked strange if you did it differently. You could do a diagonal. Indeed. I think this would look lovely if you did chevron, like a chevron patch pocket. Getting inventive.
Sewing bee guests in their pockets, eh? Jennifer Taylor's always a fan of a pocket.
She loves a pocket.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you there for just 1 second.
Okay.
And I'm going to go and look at all the fabrics.
Right.
Take a look at my trousers there as I go. Right. Let's have a look at the chickens. This is the fabric. So lovely. Really, really lovely. So it's adjustable because you've got the D-ring there, up there, which makes this fully adjustable. And a lovely make. So, if you would like to make... Oh, there's that D-ring. That's the feature on this apron. Really love it. $28.95 gets you your blue It's kind of a duck eggy blue, which is appropriate for chicks. $28.95, 2.5 meters of fabric. You get 1.5 meters of this. You get 1 meter of your binding fabric. You get your thread, you get your D-rings. You have everything that you need to get going. Yay! Now, maybe you want chicks in yellow. Don't know there. Or we're calling it something different. No, we are calling it chicks in yellow. But you get a green binding with this one. Same D-rings and everything else. $32.45, just because we've put a different fabric for your binding. That's the only reason when the price is different. ZQGC36. Now, grey. Grey, let's go grey ticking. I like this, kind of a classic. My brother's just had a new kitchen put in, and his is grey. This would look lovely. Maybe I should make this for him. Yeah, that's your grey. Love the ticking. $24.45. XRGC50. Then don't forget you get your thread and, of course, your D thingies there. Blue next. Love the blue. Look at these. They're your blues. You're also getting your thread and also your Ds. There they are. And then the orange that we've been working with, which just is fab. So now it's Angela Atwood, isn't it? It's got an orange kitchen. This would be right up her street. There we go. And with your thread as well. All of that, $24.45. UDGC 98. There we go. Fab. They're all looking rather wonderful. Now, this is, of course, out of the book. What I really love about, oh look, you see, there's no guessing as to where we got our inspiration for the fabrics, is there? But the nice thing about this book is that it will talk you through fabric choices, which is sometimes a scary thing.
Can be, yes.
I get a little bit nervous when someone says jersey.
No, I like working with jersey.
But you see, until you've done it,
yeah,
it can be a nerve-wracking thing. This is the apron. He doesn't come with it, by the way, ladies. I'm sorry about that, but he doesn't. But you can look at him. There's your apron pattern. Just get your pattern. And, of course, then if you want to size it up or skinny it down like you did, you made us a little mini itty-bitty-bitty one, then you can. You're not restricted because you make your pattern up from there, but it gives you those proportions. And then step-by-step instructions. Now, you said this was, what, 6 different steps, I think? Yeah. Fab.
That's simple.
So great.
So all I'm doing now, I'm sewing round those hems, which is the 2 side hems and the bottom hem.
Aha.
Yeah, it's coming up for the last side hem. Then, similar to the top of the apron, which is just where a straight bit across the top. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot simpler, the straight bit, because it's 1 fold, well, 2 folds.
Across that top.
Again, double fold, and it just tidies up all those raw edges.
Which is great because, let's face it, an apron is going to be washed.
It's going to be washed. Well, a lot, yes.
My husband makes pizzas.
Oh, messy.
Yeah.
Yeah, messy.
Yeah. And so aprons have become a big thing in our household.
Yes.
I don't wear one, but he does.
I do, because I'm a messy cook.
Yeah. I need to make one for Captain Small in our house as well. Because,
well, there you go.
Yeah, well, that's what I was looking at it. I mean, he's not that small to fit the mini apron that you've made us.
Well, that was just with the what was left from cutting this one out. I'm sure I could have been a bit more inventive and done.
But I love that.
The stripes going the other way.
If you've got if little ones are joining you in the kitchen, why not have one for their teddy?
Yes, exactly.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
I've told this story
before.
before.
One for them, one for the teddy, and just keep going down the side, like Russian dolls.
Russian doll aprons, perfect. Yeah. I just think it's fab. I love it. And this colourway, I think...
It's so bright, isn't it?
This one or the grey. I'm not sure which is my favourite. I think this one.
I like this one. Yeah. Okay. I'll put the short one on.
Okay.
Yep. I placed
You're the boss today. When do you do the pocket?
I've just pinned the pocket on.
Okay.
Now, you get placement markings on pattern, and I've just drawn them on. So I've got little lines. So it says to do that quite early on. Pockets and anything you're going to add on to anything you're making, they tend to be done first. Get all your pieces attached to your main bit. So for doing a shirt, the first thing you do is put the pocket on.
Really?
Yeah, that's the first instruction is put the pocket on. I don't like pockets on shirts, so I didn't bother. But that was the first thing you do.
You wouldn't see a pocket on
You
that shirt
you
anyway.
wouldn't know where to find it.
No, no.
So he said put the pocket on. Make your pocket. It gives you a simple stitching to do first. Place it on, and then you again stitch all the way around. When I did that one, I double stitched, so you've got a double row of stitching going round because you know you're going to put your hands in. It's going to get.
It's a good double hand size, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Nice. Should we stitch that on now, or are we going straight? We've got lots of time actually.
How are we doing for time?
We've got what 15 minutes left. What do you reckon?
I'll pin the bias on.
Go on then. I can see you are bias eager.
I don't know what I'm going to do. So start with that, and then.
So this neat edge that we folded a centimetre over on the edge of our bias is now coming into its own.
It will once we've attached the bias on. So
okay.
I've said, right, short one.
This is why you need to post it there.
This is where you need. Now, it said 34.5 inches.
You did it with a pin, didn't you?
Put a pin, so that is going to be that way round. So make sure you get your 34.5 inches, which is that one.
Hey.
So this.
Oh, so the rest is
the rest
tie back?
is your tie at the back, yes.
Ah.
So this. It's strange to do it this way up.
If you want to spin it around and do it your way, so that it's actually comfortable for you,
it will be.
Yeah, no, do it. Don't feel caggy-handed just for us.
So that is your tie, and it matches up with the tie on the other end as well.
Nice.
This end, all you've got with this end is just enough left at the top to tuck into your D-ring.
Ah, okay.
Right? So that doesn't need to be a long piece. That's why there's one short piece and one long piece.
I'm with you.
Okay, because the other one comes up and around the back of your neck.
Okay.
So sandwich your fabric in between your bias binding. Now this is where, if you've done perfect bias binding,
which obviously you have.
Yes. It should match up. So when you're pinning it, you're pinning through.
Yeah.
And the pin will also come out the other side, holding your bias in place. Because when you're stitching it, you're going to stitch through all of it.
Oh, okay, right. So it's not like binding a quilt.
No, it's not like binding where you put it on one side, fold it over and do it,
hand
and then stitch again.
Yeah, none of that.
When we did the walkaway dress on the show, there was about 5 meters of bias binding to put on that.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Because at the time it was a 50s style dress, so that was a way of doing and finishing off. So we had a lot to do.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, it was fabulous.
Has it been life-changing for you?
It has, yes. It's got me here.
Well, there you go. Life doesn't change more than that, does it?
Indeed.
But did you ever think... I mean, this is what amazes me, is that people watch, you see the pressure of that time challenge, and you go, yeah, actually, I can do that. I can do that. But I'm amazed that you hadn't actually made a shirt before.
No.
Are you a man that loves a challenge?
Oh, I do like a challenge. I rise to a challenge, definitely, yes.
Any other challenges of note?
Jamie, who was on the last Sewing Bee,
yeah,
he had a challenge last year to make a blazer, a gentleman's blazer.
In how long?
He mentioned this in the January, and he said we got to get done by June, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
And I said, I'll have a go at that. Never made a jacket before. Never made a jacket, but I thought, I'll have a go. What can be difficult?
So what can be difficult? Having made it?
Lining. Lining was difficult. And fabric choice. Fabric choice. The first one I made in something similar to this, but almost twice thickness. And I put it on, and I was walking around like this, wearing it.
Everyone loves the scarecrow.
It looked fabulous.
Yeah.
It was Andy Pandy colour.
Nice.
You know, that sort of blue and white.
Yeah.
With gorgeous dark, I think it's like glitter denim lapels. It looked stunning, but you couldn't move when you were wearing it.
Oh, no.
Fabulous. So I gave up on that one.
Right.
Started another one, and eventually did finish it. It took me about 3 months.
Really?
But I was determined to do it.
Yeah, good for you.
And that was vent pockets, flaps, lining, the whole thing.
Start with an apron.
Yes, start with an
Work your
apron.
way up.
Make your own jacket. Pin all your bias along the edge because that's the way you're going to sew it.
Let's sew it.
So let's sew it.
Let's do it.
So this is where your square off ends come in.
Okay. Yeah, because this is the very first bit you're going to start sewing.
Yes.
Okay.
So I need to see what I'm doing.
Oh, hello,
So
the
bit of
spectacle.
close-up
You know
work.
it's serious. The glasses are coming out.
Work. Right. So my machine, I always have to get hold of the threads at the end, stop them coming through.
Oh, okay.
So I've got into the habit of doing that.
Hey, look, do it.
Some machines, they will, if you don't quite catch the end, they will pull the threads back in.
It's sort of
I've
like a
always,
bird's nest.
yes, I've always, and that's not nice underneath the sewing, no. So I've got into the habit of doing that. So forward along that edge, and then reverse stitch that one.
Yep.
Reverse stitch. Okay.
Hey.
Now we're going to sew along all of that edge.
Now, it seems right that you are here today.
Okay.
Because coming up very soon is the Great British Sewing Bee live.
Live.
Are you going to be there?
I will be there.
Yay!
I'll be there on the Saturday and the Sunday.
Well, so are we.
Great.
And we've got an offer for you. So using the code SQD, so sewing quarter discount is what that stands for, SQD. I think that's what it stands for.
Well,
Does in my
we'll
head
go for
now.
that one,
Yeah.
yeah.
SQD, you can get £1.50 off per ticket. Hurrah!
Hey.
Come and join us.
Indeed. We'll be
Excellent.
there.
T's and C's
We'll
are
be
on the
there.
website. Now, how close do we need to sew to this edge?
Well, because it is half an inch, well, no, it's an inch wide, isn't it? Are we
Yeah.
Half inch?
Yeah.
It's so wide. You've got a lot actually tucked inside like that.
Okay.
So you don't need to be too close to the edge.
Okay.
But you don't want to be too far away to don't want it opening.
Okay.
So I've gone about, very close, probably about 1/8 of an inch.
No, I'm
there.
impressed by your edge stitching there. It's a bit like top stitching, isn't it? This gives you a
Very
great
good, yeah.
a great start for that kind of thing. All
Yeah.
these skills, then when you transfer, you go, yeah, okay. Now, you also make a few flamboyant items, it would be fair to say.
One or two, yes.
You do costumes for drag acts.
I do, yes. Now, the beauty of those is you just can go overboard with colour, glitter, feathers, you name it. Add it on, braiding, the whole lot.
Now, we had Kay Fassett here last week.
That was fantastic.
And his line, which I love and will be using everywhere, if in doubt, add 20 colours.
Add 20 colours.
Is
I
that the
love that.
same with drag?
Yeah, oh yes, yes.
And some sparkling glitter.
Yes.
Feathers.
A friend of mine says you can not have too many colours. You know, if you're going to just have one colour and have like a matching colour, I'll be like, no, throw
All the
another one
colours.
on, throw another
I
one
want
on.
all the colours.
Yeah, all the colours all the time.
Brilliant, brilliant. But how lovely.
I really enjoy doing them. They're great.
And carnivals and things like that, just great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Now, 9 minutes. How are we doing for 9 minutes?
Right, okay.
Is it like being back on the bee with a time challenge?
Virtually,
You don't have
yes.
to make the whole thing, don't worry, but you've got 9 minutes.
Right, well, I
Mr.
can
Clarke.
show you what else needs doing. We'll have time to sew the pocket on.
Hey!
So when you get to this other end, okay, needle down,
Yeah,
turn,
yeah.
tip pin out.
It's always fun, isn't it, on a new machine?
Yes.
Yeah. I respect all of our guests for
So
that.
along there, and let's reverse. Everything's in slightly different places on some machines.
It's like driving somebody else's car.
Oh, yeah.
You stall it occasionally. Well, I do.
So that is your short side.
Hey! It comes together, actually,
Okay, very
remarkably quickly, doesn't it?
Now, on the other side, this is the other side that you have to put the D-ring on. Where can the D-rings go to? Yeah, I'll show you on this side, because then it'll just be the same as putting it
Oh,
on
do you
the
know, I
other
was going to
side.
ask about the D-rings, because
Right.
that's the bit that I'm like, not quite sure how to do that.
They're quite simple. Because they're going to come down from the other side, I'll pretend that this is your other side. So this is going to join onto there.
Right.
Okay, so you want the two to join together. So literally, put your D-ring in,
Yeah.
straight side down.
Oh, both of them on the same
Both
side?
of them on the same
Okay.
side, yep. and then tuck under. It says tuck about 2.5 inches under. So you've got them both.
Oh,
down
right,
like that.
okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Then, so if I just pin that into place, because this would be on the end of the longer strip.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this piece comes under through there, over the top of the other one.
Just slots down. Job done.
Deeming fitted.
Hurrah!
Simple!
This is fabulous.
So, yeah, the other piece just needs sewing on in the same way.
Okay.
Pin, sew around the curvy bit.
Yes.
And then we need to pin the pocket, sew the pocket on, and we're done.
Nice.
So, apron.
Would you have enough, if you'd wanted to highlight that pocket and put a piece of bias along the top there, would you have enough to do that?
Yep. There's a piece I prepared earlier.
Oh, look, there is.
And that would be ideal. That would be a good finish. Well done, nice idea.
Well,
I like that.
I saw, yeah.
You know where your hand's going to go then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like it a lot. Yeah. Or you
so
could
pocket
applique
needs
something onto it. You could,
an initial
yeah,
or
yeah,
anything
Daddy's
like that.
little helper on that one. Mummy's little helper.
Oh.
Just little helper.
Little helper. Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah. Let's not be specific. They can help everyone.
Yes.
Absolutely. Let's sew on that pocket then.
Okay, sewing on the pocket.
Now, are you going to double stitch around here?
I will
or...
double stitch around this one because it just shows you how you can secure it a bit more.
And the other question that I have is,
Okay.
do you, because I don't want this bit ripping, this is going to be a hard wearing area.
Yep.
So do I start stitching above and then come onto there?
I'm going to go all the way around the edge, the outer edge, because then that fixes it.
Right.
So it stops it sort of flapping like that.
Yeah.
Then I will come back along that it was originally
your seam
attacking
line. Yeah,
stitch.
yeah.
Okay. Then when I get to the top of there, I'll come across and then go back down again. So you have got that, almost like that double squared edge to it.
So the bit that we're talking about is the top of that pocket here. So the first line is going to come around the outside here. The second line will go on that tacking stitch there, and then you'll reinforce
Yes,
up
so
there.
you'll come across the top of the pocket a little bit,
Okay.
and then you'll start coming back down again. You could do a square, stitch a whole square there, which would secure it even more. You see on some pockets they've got like a little little triangle.
Yeah.
diamond.
And I do it
Again,
on my bag
reinforces it.
handles.
Yeah, and it reinforces that.
Nice.
So if I start off again, need to
Oh, hello.
close
The
up
glasses
look.
are coming on.
Focus.
Hey, we
There
know
you go.
that. We know it's serious. Now, Paul, we have the pleasure of your company in another hour's time.
Okay.
What are we doing then?
I am making capri pants.
Yay!
Now, these were the first challenge we got given on our year of the sewing bee. It was we didn't know what we were going to make, and we were told it was cotton,
Right.
because we were doing a summer dress in cotton the next day. We were given these capri pants to make. So I thought, well, that's quite fitting. My first day there,
Yeah.
my first day here,
Yep.
make the same item.
I have to say they're super comfortable. I was wearing them in the first show. Quick costume change so that we match, and then I will change back into them, and so you can see them. But the fabric is beautiful. Are they easy?
They were quite simple, yes.
Okay.
Right.
This is good. Back sewing machine.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I've just gone over that edge a little bit.
That's all right. We were chatting. I take full responsibility
Okay, I'll
for
blame
any
you. I'll blame you for
mis-sewn
that
bits. It's generally my fault.
Just be careful any time you're sewing is make sure you don't get anything tucked in underneath. So many times I've sewn underneath layers to it, and then you've got to just unpick again and unpick again.
It is the classic mistake, isn't it?
Yes.
So what's your favourite shirt?
Oh, got to be my red elephant shirt.
You know, Can you wear that in the next show? You've got it here, haven't
I
you?
have got it here. So
Do you want to wear
yeah,
it for the next show?
I will wear that for the next
Oh,
show.
okay,
yes.
brilliant.
Okay.
We've had a message from Susanna. She says, so pleased to see my friend Paul on the show. Doing a great job. Love, Susanna.
Hello, Susanna.
Hello.
Thanks for the message.
Oh. Do you get recognised still?
I do, yes. Yes. Especially when I'm in fabric shops.
Yeah, well, I guess it's,
well, that's understandable.
It's placing people in the right context, isn't it, then?
Yeah. I'll say a quick hello to my mum.
Of course, we insist. Good morning, Mum.
Hi, Mum.
It's your fault he's here. Yeah.
So now I'm going back down that original line of stitching for the pocket.
Will you take out that tacking stitch or leave it in?
No, I'll leave it in because I'm actually going over that same line. If it was more of a tacking stitch, I might have taken it out, but it's given me a line to follow.
And also it then looks like it's because you've got the thread. We've put in a thread which is beautiful in each of these. You know, you've got that thread in there. It's really highlighting that. I like that an awful lot. $24.45 gets you the orange stripe apron bundle. 2.5 metres and your D-rings and your thread. We are nearly out of time, Paul. Oh. You've been fab. First hour under your belt, how do you feel?
Relieved.
You've been brilliant. You've been absolutely brilliant. Susanna is quite right, doing a grand job, absolutely grand job. We've tackled bias binding, we've done pockets, we've shown you how to do patterns, how to cut it. Good job. And we have introduced the idea of the Russian doll of aprons. This was just a little extra that Paul couldn't resist making for us, which I think is absolutely fab. For all those little helpers. Excellent. If you've got things in your baskets, please check out your baskets. Paul, you're an absolute star. Look at that. Fab. Brilliant.
Thank you.
I'm going to see you in an hour. I'm going to go show everyone all the fabrics. I look forward to seeing the elephants.
Excellent.
In an hour.
I will bring them on.
Yay! Come with me. Aha! Now, which is most popular this hour, Producer Paul? Do we have a favourite? It's the chickens. The blue chickens, our favourite this hour. Here they are. And here it is. This is what it looks like made up. Now, this is $28.95. You get 1.5 meters of your chickens, 1 metre of your contrasting blue, your D-rings and your thread. MGGC at 54. We've got low on stock. The blue stripes, let's take you over to the blue stripes. We are low on stock of these. I just love the ticking. I do love ticking, and to be able to have something really usable in your home in the gorgeous ticking, winner. $24.45 there. What? Oh gosh, if everybody checks out, we've only got 3 left of these. $24.45 YBGC71. If you have this in your basket, please check out. I don't want anyone missing out and being sad. It's Monday. Can't have Monday morning blues. You've got to be happy. Grab that. Which to go to next? Grey. This is lovely. Grey is it's very, very on trend. And also just a classic. Very nice. $24.45 for the grey. XRGC 50. Don't forget you get your D-rings in there as well. Quite tricky to find sometimes, D-rings. Orange. Here we go. There's your orange. This is the one that we've been using today. That really warm, vibrant orange. Just fab. With your thread as well. It's all in there. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can get sewing straight away. $24.45 UDGC 98. And then the last one is your chicks. Here they are. Your thread, your D-rings, everything that you need in there, and a nice green binding on that one. And this is, hang on, we'll get you that in a minute. There we go, $32.45. Thank you, Amy, because the pattern comes out of this book. So you've got all of the different makes from this season of the Sewing Bee. We've got another one as well coming up later. There we go. There's some faces that you might recognise there. This is $19.95. In the back, you do get a full-size pattern in the back. Others you make your own patterns of. That's the one that we've worked with today. But it's an all-round lovely tutorial as well. So it talks you through how to make your patterns. If you've got things like your tailor's curve, your French curve, Beautiful. We made that pinstripe dress, that pencil skirt. We made that on the show. It's lovely, isn't it? There are some beautiful makes in here. It's a really lovely book. It's not all clothes. There's all sorts of things in there as well. So it's 1995 EUSP 91. Stay with us because we've got quilt blocks of pretty much any shape or size coming up next. Here we go. I talked about the old French curve. Here we go. $9.95 for your Imperial. Grab it if you need it. Make sure you've got the tools for the job. It makes everything a lot easier. So $9.95 for your French curve. Excellent. Right, so coming up next, Jane Alocok is back. We will see you for more quilting after the break.
Join us on Facebook. Simply search for the Sewing Quarter and like our page for the latest news and more.
There are many different ways you can buy from us here at the Sewing Quarter. You can order from us by calling our free phone number at 0800 112 4433 and talk to the team at our UK-based call centre. Alternatively, there are other ways you can buy from us. You can go online and shop through our website at www.sewingquarter.com. You can even watch the show there and shop as you go. You can check out as many times as you like throughout the day and only pay a small fee of £2.95 postage and packaging for the whole day. We also offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all products excluding custom-cut fabric. Our friendly UK-based team will help guide you through every step.
The Sewing Quarter website is simple and easy to use. You can view a live broadcast of the show on our homepage. Get instant access to our online shop, which has a wide range of wonderful products for you to choose from. You can also enjoy a selection of projects and guides which we have on offer to help you enhance your skills and gain valuable tips. Watch the live shows and you can buy the product which is currently being shown on air. You can even message the studio to ask our presenters or team any questions you might have. Below, you'll find all the products from today's show for you to look at and purchase. On the right of the screen, next to today's products, you will find our simple program guide listing all upcoming shows. So, join us today at sewingquarter.com. Join us on Wednesday the 16th of August when Angie Atwood returns with another Westerly Masterclass. Westerly templates are designed to give your quilting projects a professional finish without dampening your creativity. They're versatile and easy to use, and with Angie's expert guidance, they'll revolutionise the way you quilt. Angie will show us an array of tips and tricks at 8 AM, followed by a quilting demo at 10 AM, featuring some fabulous designer pre-cuts. So tune in and prepare to be amazed at what you can achieve. Wednesday the 16th of August at 8 AM and 10 AM. Only on Sewing Quarter, Freeview Channel 78.
Did you know there are multiple ways you can contact us, even if it's just to ask a question? Our friendly team are always on standby. You can call our customer service team at 0800 112 4433, email us at help@sewingquarter.com, visit our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter @SewingQuarter, and even message us through our website, and our presenters will answer your questions live on air.
Hello, welcome back. Now, this hour we're back to quilting. Jane's joining us again this hour. We've got fabric bundles for you so that if you have a book like this, you can get quilting straight away. Now, this is 100 any size flower blocks. If flowers are your thing, then we've got all sorts of different ways for you to do it. Now, it comes with a CD for you to download all your different sizes. So if you've got a computer that takes a CD, then that is absolutely perfect. An introduction to show you how to work the whole thing. And then you just print it out. It's as simple as that. Now you've got pieced, so if you like your foundation piecing, then you've got those, which are absolutely stunning. It's like art, isn't it, this? But you've got 100 different flowers to play with. If foundation piecing isn't your thing, then don't worry, because we've got others in here as well. There are 100 to choose from, but I do rather love the foundation piecing. Look at these, just fab. So you can really get creating. We've got picture applique as well in there. It's fab, isn't it? It's like a, Sale says it's like a colouring in book for fabric. So you choose. I mean, just imagine a table runner with these down there. It would be fabulous. Really beautiful. A central piece, maybe in Christmas colours or something like that. Don't know why I'm thinking about Christmas. I think it's because the weather's changed. There we go. Or if you just want to work with your patchwork blocks, then we've got all of these for you in this book. 100 any size blocks. Any size, because you get the CD in there to change the size. It's $15.95. Now, producer Paul, what are you saying? You put the CD in and you go to... Okay, so you go to the patch that you want, whichever one you want to do, and you get an image like this. So, and then you print it off, and there it is. You're good to go. Yay! Get 100 of those. It's good, isn't it? Any size you like. Fab. Now, the bundles that we've put together for you, Jane, she's a star, isn't she? She's made this, which is gorgeous. Now, this is actually a cushion. We should actually find a cushion pad, shouldn't we, to put in it. That is the tulip. And it's just gorgeous. It looks very regal, actually, doesn't it? It looks like crowns around the side. It's really fab. $25.45 gets you the red tulip fabric bundle, 3 meters, which means that you can make 4 or 5 of those, I think. Amy, if we've got a cushion we can pop in there, then we'll really show that off. Now, the next bundle that we've got, so that's one option for you with the red and the green and the cream. The next option that we've got for you is this one. Now, this is your yellow spot tulip. So you've got that lovely green down there. And again, 3 meters, a meter of each of the fabric there. That lovely yellow, they're fresh colours, aren't they? $25.95 for that. And then the last one is your pinks, your purples, your greens. Here we go, and again, a meter of each of this. So 3 meter fabric bundle. This is a whopper. $22.45, HVGC 25. There we go. Yeah, and you can be making something like this, which we're going to pad out and we're going to have a look at. I'm going to take this and come across to you. Hello, Jane.
Hello,
welcome
hello.
back. Mwah, mwah. Now, you clever thing. Why did you choose this one?
Well, I was asked to do this one.
As good a reason as any.
I mean, I could have done any in there. They're all beautiful. There's just such a lovely selection. But my brief was to do the double tulip. So that's what I did, because I do as I'm told. Generally. John might tell you differently, but generally I do as I told.
Yeah, as far as we're concerned, you're very obedient. Thank you very much. Is it tricky?
No, it isn't. It's half square triangles and squares, basically.
But it looks really impressive.
Really lovely.
Look at this. In fact, Amy's going to hand it in to me because she's just stuffed it. Look at
It looks
that.
lovely with the cushion pad in, doesn't it?
I love it with the cushion pad in. Now, the CD-ROM also works on Macs, because I know it's going to be the next question that we get in from everyone. So yes, it will work on that. But feels lovely. It feels...
The wadding, because it's craft wadding, it's a bit denser, a bit more puffy, so it gives you a really lovely texture when you're quilting it.
So you used a craft wadding
I think
for this. So we've got craft wadding on the show for you.
I think it was the pack that...
Yeah, it's
you
the
got
metre
there.
square craft wadding pack. which we'll get you the information for in just a minute. It's a very inexpensive one. I think it's like $4.45 or something. It's
and there's loads.
It's how
in
much? $4.95. There you go, $4.95. ZBGQ 39 for your So Easy poly wadding, and that's what's given that real luxurious.
Yeah, it's given it real
effect.
texture. Yeah, it's lovely.
It feels very expensive. But you can actually make quite a few of these, can't you, out of your bundle?
Out of the bundle, and that you could make at least 4, that size.
Fab.
Yeah.
What size is this?
I've used 2-inch squares on that one.
Okay.
I'm going to demonstrate with 3-inch squares because it's a bit bigger.
Now this is out of the green and the yellow. But you can see the difference, can't you? Just by adding an inch.
Yeah.
Look at that. Lovely. And actually, the difference just in using the colour. This is what always amazes me with quilting. Change of size, a change of colour, change of texture.
Yeah.
Whole different
Different quilt.
thing.
We teach an absolute beginner quilt at the corner patch, and it's the same 9-block pattern, and everybody does it in a different colour, different fabrics, different combination of colours, and they all look different, and it's amazing because it's the same quilt, but it just looks so different. It's lovely.
And I think sometimes it's getting that colour combination that scares people. What if I didn't get it right? What if I didn't get it right? Well, that's why we've put 3 colour combinations together that really work today for you. So whichever one you choose, you know you're onto a winner. This is it in the book. Now you can go to your CD, cut out templates, but you can just do.
Yeah, if you're a patchworker and you're confident with your patchworking, you can look at a pattern like that, and you can break it down into the components, so you can see how many squares and how many half-square triangles you need.
So if we're doing a 3-inch square, then how big do the squares need to be for my triangles?
You need to cut 3 7/8.
It's that tricky 7/8, isn't it?
It's that 7/8.
But that's the rule.
You could cut 4 and then trim it down, like we did earlier with the triangles there.
But 3 7/8, that's the magic number. That's 7/8.
7/8 of an inch every time to whatever your finished size is. So for the 2 inches, I cut 2 7/8 inch squares.
We'll bring it back down to the size that you want. Nice, that finished size. And once you've learnt that rule,
you're pretty much ready to go.
Or download the template.
Template, yeah.
Yeah,
good
that
place.
too. Yeah, template, which you get with the CD. Awesome. I like options.
I'm going to show you a way of doing 8 half-square triangles in one go.
Crazy lady, really?
Yeah, because there's so many in here.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to need a lot, and it just saves time. So make a load in one go, and just, you know, save yourself time.
I like this. Is this the key? Because you've made a lot of quilts for us.
Yeah, today. I'm always looking for the quickest way with the minimum amount of wastage.
Ah, now you see, you're a lady after my own heart.
Yeah.
Minimum amount of wastage. Excellent. So, how big a square do we need?
There's another formula then for this. So, because I want 3-inch squares,
yes,
I'm going to double it.
Okay, 6.
And then I'm going to add 1 3/4.
1 3/4,
which is 2 7/8.
Okay.
So I have cut a 7 3/4 inch square there.
Okay.
I'm going to do the yellow dotty and the plain background.
Oh right.
Is it ecru?
Ecru.
Yeah, ecru. So I've cut a 7 3/4 of the yellow and a 7 3/4 of the ecru.
I really like the ecru with this. We could have gone with a bright white and it would have given a completely different finish. But this gives more of a,
it down a bit, doesn't it?
More of a sort of shabby chic feel to it. I like. Softer. Or did you need that?
No.
So the bundle, the book is $15.95. It's this, 100 any size flowers. Well, flower blocks.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's another good resource as well, because if you are worried about colour combinations, just flicking through there gives you colour ideas as well.
100 of them.
Yeah.
In fact.
You know, so if you're not sure about colours together, and you can look through there and it'll give you some pointers.
Now, 500 plus block sizes. There's how many, Producer Paul? 537, actually, if we're going to be like pedantic about it.
Wow.
So you've got foundation paper patterns for each one. That's foundation paper pieced, obviously. So you've got all of those in there, which is just fab. So if you're an absolute beginner, you've got all of the templates there. And actually, you know, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I've lost my mojo, my sewing mojo. I need something to help me. What can I do?" Grab a book like that, have a flick through. Something will take your fancy, and give it a go. Oh, hello! We've got a cross.
Yes,
on
I've
here.
marked the diagonal.
Yes.
On the large square. I'm going to now sew 1/4 of an inch either side of that diagonal.
Okay.
Pretty much like you do with your half square triangles. So lining the foot up with the edge of the... I've just moved my needle across. So
Okay.
I've lined my foot up with the edge of that.
Does
square.
that get messy round that centre point?
No. You'll see in a minute that you're actually going to cut through it anyway. So it doesn't bulk up or anything like that.
I'm liking a little time-saving tip. Because then you can get more done.
Yeah.
Be more productive. Feel like you've accomplished more. If you want to spend the time and do these individually, of course you can.
You can spend time and you can cut your squares, and then you can cut your squares in half and piece them that way. You know, this reduces that, again, that bias stretch.
Yeah.
And makes more in one go.
You see, that's quite an important thing, isn't it? Trying to reduce that bias stretch, because then you're reducing error.
Yeah, it gives you more accuracy at the end of the day. The less play you've got in your fabric, the more accurate your piecing is going to be, ultimately. Obviously, accuracy with cutting and seams width helps.
So you're just going down one side, spinning it around,
yeah,
and then back again.
Back and across the opposite diagonal.
And that's the water erase. No, that's the air erasable pen that we've got there. So you're not even having to worry about that. But of course, you're going to use that to cut along, aren't you?
Yeah, you're going to cut along it, so it's not going to matter anyway. So you could use any fabric marker. You could even use an ordinary pencil, although, you know, we don't recommend ordinary pencils because of them coming through the fabric. But because you're going to cut along it, you're not going to see it anyway.
Ultimately, it's not a problem. Now, I know you were having a good chat with our new guest, Paul, earlier. And he started to learn with his mum.
Yeah.
Is that the same for you?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Because your mum's been pretty awesome, hasn't she?
She's amazing. She's the best mum ever. Well, everybody says that about their mums, but mine is.
But it just happens to be true in this case. Yeah. Producer Paul says actually his mum is. It's not a competition, Producer Paul. Not a competition, because otherwise mine would win.
Yeah, she's always sewn. She used to make our clothes when we were little.
Really?
Yeah. You know, I'd go to bed at night without a school skirt for the next morning and wake up and it'd be hanging on the back of the door ready in the morning. You know,
it's like having pixies in the house.
Little magic fairy elf. And she's been an amazing support to me with the sharp and helping me, particularly with the sewing quarter, so hand sewing, binding down and things like that.
She must love it then.
She's been quilting a long time. She's made some absolutely amazing quilts, mainly for raising money for charity. She does a lot of work for charity.
Oh, bless her.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Ah, there you go.
We're going to measure now because we're going to cut in half. So 3 7/8 across from the middle, which goes through the middle of it. You're cutting it in half.
Yes.
So you're cutting it in half that way. Mm-hmm. Rotating your mat, which is this mat is just fantastic for this because you don't want
born for this, isn't it?
You don't want to move it much if you can help it. I mean, you can turn your ordinary cutting mat round, but this just saves so much time.
If you have space, normally I'll send a cup of tea flying.
Yes, you're bound to, aren't you? Something will go.
Yeah.
So you cut it into quarters that way, and then you're going to cut it on the diagonal, which is the longer ruler.
Step up the ruler size there for the diagonal. Oh, lost my voice there. So $15.95 gets you the book, and our fabric bundles at $25.95. That's for 3 meters of fabric. That's a huge amount of fabric.
That's a lot of fabric, and it will make lots of these blocks.
Now, what you did with yours, you made yours into a cushion And actually, can I just show? So you actually use some of the extra fabric to do the cushion back with as well, and to bind. It's a beautifully finished cushion. You've used wadding to quilt it.
Yeah.
Really lovely.
It's just it's a lovely block, and it gives a lovely effect.
It looks regal.
It's very nice.
It does. It's funny when you see things close to, and then when you see things from afar. This one looks really quite regal, and I do love it. And then you see it in that, and it's fresh and crisp, and it's all different again. We've had a message from Anne in Cheshire who says, "I learnt watching my dad. He used to make a lot of our clothes." Is that unusual to have a dad making clothes?
I don't think it's as unusual as we might think.
Really?
You know, there's a lot of men out there tailoring and enjoying making clothes, but it's
Paul,
one of these things. It's one of these things that people tend to think is a woman's work, but it's not, is it? Really, when you think of all the suits and the tailored,
all the
and
tailors
tailoring and stuff like that. So yeah. So
fab.
Having cut all that, you then end up with 8 half-square triangles.
Would you like me to get the iron out?
Well, you don't need to, because I've done some that I made earlier. When you do your...
You've got the hang of this live TV malarkey,
yeah. Just so... There you go. And you've got 8 there. Well, you need 4 just in the one. So 2 of these will make all the triangles, the half-square triangles that you need.
Oh, brilliant.
For the four corners of that
the whole one.
Of that block.
Excellent.
So that has saved you like so much time. Because the other method, of course, is the diagonal line, sew either side and cut down, and that gives you 2.
Which we showed you in the first hour.
Yeah.
If you were watching in the first hour, this is what we've discovered is... it's not a big revelation for major quilters out there, but once you've got a half square triangle, you can do so many different patterns and designs.
So many lovely things you can do.
Because this is the beginning of your flying geese.
Yeah.
Everything, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know, half square triangles make so many pretty things. You've got your pinwheel block that goes round like that. And you know, if you do that in pretty colours and change the colours, you could change each triangle, and you could make all sorts of different pretty things with that. That always reminds me of seaside.
Yes. Oh, the little windmill things, yes.
Yeah.
Now, producer Hannah has got the quilting bug. I have to tell you, she has got the quilting bug. And now that she's learnt how to do a half square triangle, there is no stopping her. She showed me this design that she's going to go for next. And it looks incredibly intricate. She's just half square triangles. That's it.
That's it.
And anybody that met her on Saturday, she was really shy at Festival of Quilts. She didn't tell anyone who she was. And so, yeah, the very attractive lady, bright blue eyes and big mane of dark hair, that's producer Hannah. So you may have met her and just not realised. But again, it's faces to names, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You probably found that as well when you were there. You probably met lots of people that you know the names of.
Yes, because they come through on email.
Yeah.
You know, and we hear them or, you know, on social media, things like that. So, yeah, thank you for coming to say hello at Festival of Quilts. We had lots of fun.
I'm going to put that out of the way. Right, so the stalk part of this.
Ah, yes.
On the pattern, well, it's not a pattern, is it? It's in the book. It tells you, where are we, page 30?
Oh, sorry,
no, it's fine. It's just 34, isn't it? It says here, note, embroidered or applique stems after piecing block.
Okay.
Well, I did a pieced one because I'm just awkward, aren't I? Just like to do my own thing. So I'm going to show you how to...
And that's okay.
Yeah, because you can do what you like.
Yes.
So I'm going to take a square and I'm cutting it in half. So
that's why we love you, Jane.
3 7/8. I'm just a rebel. No, I'm not.
With a stem cause.
And I'm going to cut it in half diagonally.
Okay.
Now what I did is I measured the diagonal of this square.
Right.
Which is 5.5.
Okay.
Just whatever your square is, it'll be whatever it is. So I cut a strip at that. So I'm going to put that in between there.
Ah.
So this strip is 7/8 of an inch. It's not quite an inch.
That's 7/8. Keeps cropping up today, doesn't it?
I wanted it to be a quarter. So I thought, oh, well, I'm going to cut an inch and then, no, I'm going to cut 3/4 and fold it in. But it was just that little bit not quite big enough.
Is that because by the time you've got the fold
Fold
as well,
over,
it takes
yeah.
up a little bit more?
Yeah. So you can cut it as wide as you want it to be, but I thought that was quite a nice width. It went
Feels good.
quite
Yeah.
nicely. So I lined up the strip along that line there, and just 1/4 inch seam.
Now in the book you can applique. This is entirely up to you. This is
You can
this is
applique
doing
it.
step up.
You can applique it, a bit of bias binding. If you use bias binding, you could get a curve on it if you wanted to.
Oh, now hang on. No one mentioned curving things.
Yes. You could use your zigzag stitch or satin stitch on your machine and
yeah.
just satin stitch it down.
Entirely up to you.
Whatever you wish to do. I mean, this is the beauty of this book. It gives you so many ideas.
Yes.
You know, and we like a book to guide us, and when we're beginners, we tend to follow it to the letter. But as you get more experience, you can look at things and think, oh, well, maybe if I did this or I did that, it'll change the look, and you can make it your own.
Producer Paul is quite the chef, and he started off following recipes to the letter, and then you go, actually, I'd like a bit more garlic in this, or I'd like a little bit more paprika or something.
Yeah.
And oh, is it garlic? Oh, so he's a garlic boy. So when they say, you know, a little bit, he goes and adds in a whole huge amount. You see, this is it. This is what I love about this. Is from that block you can make something like that. How different does that look from that?
Yeah. It's a beautiful effect, isn't it?
Yeah, but then change it again.
Yeah.
Fab.
It's lovely.
That
Gives you
is
lots of ideas.
page 56. Producer Paul wants a closer look at that. But that's the thing, isn't it? Now these were from your applique ones. These would make beautiful wall hangings for gardeners.
Yeah, this one here, it's the same block, but because the background's different on it, it looks different.
So yes,
Different colours.
that looks quite sort of Elizabethan-y, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's got that kind of oldie-worldy feel.
Baltimore effect.
So then you can mix and match two together. Controversial, but they've done it.
Yeah.
And here it is. Right. Oh, look at that. I like this book a lot.
They've made them into placemats there by just adding wider strips either side.
So extra ideas. It doesn't have to be a massive project. It could be someone's moving into a new home. And about the CD at the back.
It tells you in the front as well. I think the smallest size you can make is a 4-inch block. Mm-hmm. It goes right up to 17 inches, I think, 15 inches.
Yeah.
The applique and the others are slightly different, but
That's fab, isn't
it's
it?
a good resource to have. Even if it's just, you know, a reference book that you just keep looking in and...
Sometimes it's that inspiration that you need. Like, I look at that and I think, oh my gosh, that is just so beautiful. How would you ever... But look at that. And it is. Do you remember Painted by Number books when you were little? It's like that, but in quilting form.
Yeah. And that will be broken down into the sections for you, because you'll make that in sections and then join the sections together.
It's a jigsaw puzzle of fabric, isn't it?
Yeah. And just the effect you could get with foundation piecing is just amazing.
It's stunning.
Look at that pansy, it's beautiful, isn't it?
But then look at all the intricate work that has to go into it. But if that could be your centre part of your quilt, couldn't it? And then you work out from there. Just lovely. All in the book. All in the book. 100 of them. They're not all foundation piece. Let me show you some others. These are your applique pieces. Oh, that was the one that looked sort of medievally.
They're called Baltimore, I think, when they're... It's a style of quilt in America. It's a Baltimore applique. That sort of style, the naive flower with the stems coming off it.
Oh, lovely.
And you can get it in like rings and on all different shapes, and they're just beautiful. They really are. I think they tend to do them in wool, so that and then they hand, you know, blanket stitch round and stuff like that.
Very,
gorgeous.
very clever. But then if you want your normal, your normal patchwork that we're used to when we think of quilts,
Squares and triangles.
Yeah. Then there we go. You've got all of those options too. Loving this. It's all in here, all in the book. $15.95 for 100 of them. Any size, as long as it's between 5 and 15 inches.
Well, you can look at it, I mean, you can work it out yourself. If you wanted it bigger and you know it's a square or a half square triangle, you can work it bigger.
Look at that. Brilliant, brilliant book. There we go.
Lovely colours. So we've put this strip in between, and we're going.
Oh, it's done. Yes.
We're going to. I just 1/4 inch, and then you can see it folds over and lies flat in the middle there. I'm going to then cut that down to 3.5.
Okay.
Using this lovely square ruler.
Now with the Creative Grids ruler, you get white numbers and black numbers. The black ones are your 1.5 inches. So all the white numbers are just inches, or the numbers on the black are 1.5 inch numbers. So that if you are, say you've gone, right, I need 3.5 inches, straight away you can line it up with that. You're not having to mess around with trying to find that 1/2 inch, because it's made by quarters for quarters. They understand.
So I've put the diagonal 45-degree line along the middle of that strip.
Okay.
So I've got it centralised, and I'm just going to trim around. And again, this lovely rotating mat is just perfect for this. Now,
I went for this the other day. This is your 8.5 inch ruler there. It just seemed like quite a handy size.
Yeah, it's just neat, isn't it? It's just the right size. So now, because I've got those 2 straight sides, I'm going to line the ruler up with those straight sides, keeping my in the middle.
That rotary cutter coming into its own, and the rotary cutting mat, of course. Perfect. Hey. So $32.95 for the rotating mat. This is where it absolutely does.
It's just perfect really, for this job.
Yes.
Because otherwise you'd either be going up and then across like that, which is okay, but it's not the safest way to use your rotary cutter. You should always cut away from you.
Yes.
You know, you're going to your fingers, don't even think about it.
Be careful, or grab the mat.
Yeah.
And also, because otherwise I work on quite a big mat, I haven't got the space to spin that.
Turn that round.
So actually having a little thing like that, I can just... Done.
So there we are. We've got the stem there. We've cut some squares.
Now, I've teased you with that Creative Grid, so I'll get you the details for that as well. Less than 10 available of those. I think a lot of you have gone, oh, yeah, that's great. Grab that. And also because you're cutting smaller squares here, but it's got that non-slip grip all the way around, so it really does hold the fabric even when you're cutting smaller squares. They are brilliant. And $16.95, I can honestly endorse them because they are now what I use at home. Because I love them.
Gorgeous. So
you're concentrating.
I'm just building up the block now. So I cut. For each one you need 5 of the 3.5 inch plain squares. You need 4 of the plain and dotty, yellow dotty, and you need 2 with the yellow dotty and the green.
Right.
I'll just get it right because I'm doing it upside down. I'm just, and then your green you need 3 altogether. For this pattern you need 3 green and background.
Looks great. Looks really great.
So there's your block.
So you do your prep and it comes together nice and quickly then, doesn't it?
Yeah, and if you've done that method with the 8, you know, you've got your half square triangles, so you're not spending all morning making a half square triangles, which can be a bit tedious, you know, when it's the same thing over and over again. So you can get on with the piecing.
When it's something that's new, there's that enthusiasm because it's new and I'm quilting and I'm doing half square triangles. Once you've done it a lot, it's like making that base tomato sauce, isn't it? You've done it a million times for your bolognese or whatever else you want to make with it. So just find the best way to do it. And if you want to go with Jane's method, then you've got 8 made from 1 square piece. So now, do we do rows? How do we do?
I sewed it together in rows and then joined the rows together. So I joined 2 together at a time. And what you can do is you can put them together. So you've got them together, and then you can chain piece. Again, just makes it a little bit quicker, joining your block. So if you pair them up in the right order,
That's the key, isn't it?
That is the key.
Is knowing which side. Sometimes I'll just put like a little wonder clip or something on the side that I want to actually sew down.
Yes.
Because I have been known to sew the wrong
Oh,
side.
it's so easy. For some reason, it'll magically turn round from the cutting mat to your machine.
I don't know how it does it.
And there's a little pixie that turns it round in your hand without you even noticing.
Which is, but again, it's getting in that habit, isn't it? Once you
Yes.
get on a roll, then you're good to go. And especially if you're making multiple blocks of this.
Yeah.
You know, this can be a really lovely project to just go. Whilst you chain piece,
Yeah.
I'm going to go over here and show you some fabrics. Hurrah! So, most popular from the bundles is the what one? Damson. This one. Oh, we haven't really looked at this, have we? But I think it's because you've got those classic colours which are going to go with so many different decors. So here we go. You've got apple spot on there, and then you've got your purple and your pink in there. You've got damsel in distress, damson, and you've got your pastel pink in there. That's your three, and a metre of each. So 22.45 gets you that. HVGC 25. That's most popular this hour. Next most popular is the red. Again, it's classics, isn't it? 1p and p, so you can stock up. Now this one, instead of having two plains, has got a linear in there. So there's a very slight difference in price just because there's a different fabric in there. But that's your vanilla linear. It's not easy to say. You've got emerald green and then you've got your red spot on, your bright red spot on. Can you see the texture? So there's just a slight texture to that, which is the pattern that's on it. It's printed on, so it's, there you go. So that's your vanilla linear. Next one is the one that we've been working with today. Bright, fresh and zesty. Spot on in sunshine. Then you've got linear in green rather. Linear in green, and then you've got your cream and green, and yeah, there you go. There are your three there. 25.95 XOGC 96. Now, we've brought you a book with 100 any size blocks, and that's all flowers. But what happens if you need a block for all occasions? We've got 1,000 of them. Same principle. 5 to 15 inches blocks. Oh no, sorry, 4 to 15 inch blocks. You get that CD again. That's at the back here, which gives you the patterns for all of these. Now, 1,000 of these for £21.95. So this doesn't just have your flowers. It's got a lot of flowers in there, don't get me wrong, but it's not just about flowers in this book. You've also got all sorts of different patterns. And there, can you see the pages are colour-coded as to what type? So whether you're foundation piecing, whether you're appliqué, whether you're patchworking. Now, and again, get those ideas with the different colourways. Now, let's have a look at the back, because we like the back pages on this. Let's have a look. There's all sorts. Yeah, I want to get to the snowman. God, there are, yeah, 1,000 really is a huge amount. Here we go. Oh, there's the bee. That's your bee one there that you love, Producer Paul. You'd forgotten about the bee, hadn't you? There's the dogs in there as well. It's a real fun one. You've got a train, butterflies, and a lion in there, monkeys. There's your lion. Lots of people with August birthdays. You know, mine's tomorrow. Leos. There we go. So a real fab book. Whatever sort of quilting you're into, it's got something covered there. Oh, there's your Christmas tree. This is your Christmas page. Brilliant. £21.95 gets you 1,000 any size blocks. SPMZ 69 gets you that. Now, the only other thing to mention is the premium polyester craft wadding. This is what Jane used. You know, you've got that luscious finish on the cushion that she made. If you want to get exactly that, then she just used this, which is £4.95. You get a metre square of your wadding there. So loads and loads and loads. It's going to be very easy to wash as well, but it's just £4.95 for that. Half the stock of this gone. So many of you going for this. ZBGQ39. It's fab. I use that a lot. Excellent. How are we getting on over here?
We've got the rows done.
Wow.
So we've sewn together the rows. I've just finger pressed this as I've gone along.
Okay.
And then we'll sew the rows together.
Should you be pressing in between?
It's probably best to. You'll get a crisper finish. But if you like, some people prefer to finger press. Some people don't touch it with an iron until they've actually finished their block, and they're
really
they're ready to go. So I've pressed the seams in opposite directions so that when it comes to joining them together, we can nest them together. So it again reduces the bulk in your sewing. Now at this point I probably would pin them together. I tend not to pin very much, but when it comes to rows and making sure the seams are lined up, I do like to stick a pin in it just to hold it while I take it to the machine, because you know how it likes to move around when you're not looking at it.
Yeah, it is a cheeky piece of fabric. This is how experienced you are. For me, I'm still sitting there trying to work out which way to iron them so that they will butt up.
Yeah.
But I guess when you've made as many as you do, it's just second nature.
And you can, take your time, look at it and think, well, if I put... And sometimes the fabric itself wants to, like these half square triangles, they'll lie flatter going that way towards the plane. But sometimes it wants to go the way that you think it won't. Sometimes the fabric tells you which way it wants to lie.
Okay. Listen to it.
Listen to your fabric. And if it doesn't, if your seams are going the same way, it's not the end of the world. Just take your time to line them up and put a pin in, and you'll get your seams matching up. But this little trick of having one seam going one way and one going the other just helps, line your points up so you get... Doesn't always work. If you look at mine closely, there's some of them that don't match, but at the end
I don't believe that for a second.
At the end of the day, when it's either on a wall or on your bed, nobody is going to be looking at it as closely as you do while you're making it.
That's very true.
And we're our own worst critics. We see every little seam, every little eighth of an inch. Sometimes it's just two threads out and you're like, oh no, that's terrible.
But it's sad, isn't it? Because it's it can be quite stifling for some people, and it stops them from actually getting on and sewing.
Yeah.
And the only way to get better is to do it. And I've made so many sort of cat and dog beds out of patchworks that I've done that I'm not quite happy with, or maybe I didn't cut quite right. They don't care, but I haven't thrown them away. They've all gone into something, but it's all a learning curve.
If you're making a child's quilt, or you're making a quilt for a gift or anything like that, the person that receives it is just going to be so joyous that you've given them something that you've taken time to make for them.
Yes.
They're not going to criticise it, and the chances are, if you're giving it as a gift, they probably are not quilters or patchworkers themselves, so they're not going to know
what it should have looked like.
What it should have looked like.
I have to say, when my son was born, my Auntie Shirley sent me a quilt, and I didn't at the time appreciate how much love, time and effort had gone into it. It's only now, working here, seeing just how much time and effort goes into a quilt. Like, actually, that's such a lovely, lovely gift that she's given. Because I think if you're given something knitted, then you know that it's taken an awful lot of time. But unless you understand quilting and you understand the cutting and everything else that's gone into it and been involved in, then sometimes it's easy to underestimate just what a loving gift it actually is.
Yes, it can be.
Yeah.
And if you don't know, then you don't know, do you? And it's no fault of yours that you didn't know. Do you know what I mean?
But my appreciation for it now is...
Yeah. And you'll cherish that, and it'll probably become sort of a family heirloom.
Yeah.
That keeps down. I mean, my son still uses his quilt that my mum made for him when he was 2 and he went into his big bed.
Oh.
And when I made him a quilt for his 18th birthday...
Yeah.
And said, you can take that one to uni with you. And he was like, well, no, I think I'll take the one Gran made me, he said, because it's, it's softer. And I was like, yeah. And I went into his digs, and it was that he shares a house with 5. He did share a house with 5 other chaps.
Yeah.
And it was there on the sofa, and he said, "Oh, we all get under it when it gets a bit chilly." I was just like, "That's so sweet."
Bless them. Or you should have taken yours as well.
Yeah.
And then you could all snuggle down under a quilt. Fab. But that's just it, isn't it? You know, it's that comfort that you get. You see, my son hates being under a duvet, so he kicks off all the covers, but I can get him under a light quilt.
Yeah, because it's not so heavy, is it, and encumbersome.
Happens to be one I made him, so he doesn't have any choice in the matter. But
yeah, but he'll love it because you made it for him.
he told me it was pretty, and that was enough. That was praise enough.
Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? So
and
there
then
we
followed
go.
it with, "You've done a cracking job, Mummy." 3. Cracking job, Mummy. This is looking lovely.
So, making 4 blocks.
Look at that. You haven't done 2 more. Seriously.
Seriously.
Wow.
So there you go. With the 3-inch squares, it becomes a 12-inch block. So joined together is 24 inches. Now that would make a lovely centre, wouldn't it, to a quilt?
Yes.
So you could use that a medallion style quilt.
That's gorgeous. Should we compare and contrast? Here we go. So this was a 2-inch one, and just how much bigger that is. That's fab.
You know, and you can put plain board around it, and then put some half square triangles around it to make a. You know, if you put let's say if we bordered that with the green.
Yeah.
And then we put a load of half square triangles, either like that, all the way around the edges, or we turned them that way to make like a flying goose styley border.
It echoes it.
And you could carry on, couldn't you, and make another lot, and it would make squares and things like that. And you could just carry on adding different borders round it.
Yeah, I mean,
and that would make a lovely centre of a quilt.
I'd be quite tempted to do sashing around in these colours.
Yeah.
And work it out then, and then you could add in your flying geese and things. You can really go to town.
Yeah, you could. I mean, because it's a block. You know, you don't have to use it in the traditional all blocks in a row like that. You can make it as a centrepiece and add different borders around, even plain borders.
I wanted also to have a little play. So because you can spin it
around, yeah.
Like that is a completely different look, isn't it?
Yeah, that's lovely, doesn't it?
That looks so lovely. And then you could do it as a table runner. You could have 2 going one way, 2 going the other. You could do them like that, or all the same way, and have it as a table runner.
You could alternate them. Or have it one going up and one going down.
Producer Paul says it's like autumn leaves falling.
Yeah, you could do them in different colours, couldn't you?
Isn't it amazing? So you go from that regal look to, like leaves falling. So then actually you could do a quilt where you had that at the top and another one at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then something in between. It could just be a border at the top and the bottom of a quilt.
Yeah, it could. You know, once you've made a block and you can play with it, you can make so many different things and have different effects. If you put sashing in between each of those, that's going to increase the size of it.
Yeah.
You know, and you could make it like that, you know, with the sashing in between. You could do this quilt as you go method. You could, you know, layer up your backing, quilt it, put your sashing in between in the same style.
Yeah, if you've had
just with ordinary wadding, because that, you know, quilt as you go can be done with blocks like this. You just layer it up.
So you could also do in between.
Yeah, you could put triangles in. You could do
in betweeny bits.
In betweeny bits.
That's the technical term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get, again, half square triangles. They give you so many types of finishes. You could put 4 together like this to get a square.
Oh, then you could pop those in.
And you could get 2 of those in between.
Hey.
In between.
Was there much fabric left over? Because you've done 4 big blocks here, 4 12-inch blocks. Was there much fabric left over?
that bundle is such good value. There is loads of fabric. It doesn't take as much fabric as you think. You know, when you think that I started with 7 3/4 inch squares to get those 4.
Yes.
You know, if I was going to do it the traditional way with the 2 squares cut in half,
Yeah.
that's, you know, let's say 4-inch strips. And out of a 4-inch strip, you can get 11 squares.
Yes, of course, because it's 44 inches,
Yeah.
isn't it? Wow. Okay, that kind of puts it into perspective. $25.95, 3 meters of fabric. You are getting a meter each of these, which suddenly means that you are the designer. That can be quite a scary thing, but actually when you've got something like the 100 any size flower blocks or the 1000 any size blocks, whichever one you're going for, actually it becomes a very exciting thing, because then you've got the material, you've got the fabric, you are ready to go.
Yeah, you do waste a lot of time playing with it and turning it around before you...
That's the fun of it,
Yeah,
that's the bit I love.
It's part of the process. It's part of the creative process of enjoying your fabric, enjoying the patchwork, and being creative. There's no limit to it. You can just keep changing it around, changing colours. You know, you could make these blocks in different colour tulips.
Yeah, you could switch. You could
switch
the
it around,
colorways.
you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with this one here, you use the vanilla linear to then do the backing. If you wanted to make sofa cushions and have different coloured backings, then you could do that too.
Yeah, you've definitely got enough fabric in there to have a really good play. You could make 4 cushions, maybe more. And if you do this size, you've probably got enough to make a small quilt, really, with that as your centre block, and then adding borders and things around.
It's great, isn't it? Really, really great value for money. The book gives you the inspiration, $15.95 for 100 any size quilts. We're looking at 16 pence a pattern.
That's really good value.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's a fabric resource, and it's like, again, you can build your skill base going through it, working your way through the book. You're going to increase your skill level as you go through, because it starts off with quite basic patterns, and it carries on.
And in also lots of different types. So you've got your foundation piecing,
Yeah.
you've got your patchwork blocks, you've got your applique, you've got all of those. You could make a massive sampler quilt.
You could, yeah, and all different flowers. If you've got a friend that's into their gardening or their flowers, it would make a beautiful present for them, wouldn't it? Even just a cushion. Just a cushion for them, you know, as a gift.
Yes, they find out their favourite flower.
Yeah, and make
do
it.
that. Just gorgeous. The tulip fabric bundle, which is the red one, which is this one, $25.45. Have we got anything left to do, or have we done?
I think we're done. I don't know if you want me to talk a little bit about the quilting on there.
Oh, yes, because I know we've gone halfway through the stock of our wadding, which means that a lot of you are wanting to do this sort of thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, most of it is quilted in the ditch, and then I've done a bit of echo quilting here. So I use...
Hang on, what's echo quilting?
Well, I used my walking foot and moved it slightly over, because you can move on my machine. I can move my needle over, so I moved my needle over and then use the edge of the walking foot to just go around the edge, and that just, it's called echo quilting because it doesn't go on the line, it echoes the line. If that,
because you stitched, when you say stitched in the ditch, you stitched in between those two fabrics.
Yeah, in between your seam is called ditch quilting.
Yes.
And that gives you, that sort of creates that raised effect.
Nice.
And then when you quilt echo quilt, it flattens it slightly and sort of emphasises the shape.
It's nice because it's emphasised the stem there, hasn't it?
Yeah, it raises it up.
Yeah.
And because that craft wadding is a little bit denser, so a little bit more poofy, for want of a better word, it gives a really like raised texture to it.
And this central piece, because this is so beautiful. Look
I
at that.
did that with my walking foot. I just made a little template just out of a bit of card.
Not lovely.
I folded it in half, folded the card in half, and just did like a half teardrop shape. And I kept trimming it down until it was the right shape. And then I drew round it with my fabric marker. And I just, because it's folded in half, you've got that crease. And I lined that crease up with the seam.
So you've got the guide.
So I knew that it was central.
Excellent.
So that lines up. with my fabric marker, and I used my walking foot. I just took my time when I got to the curve there, you know, just did a few stitches, turned it, a few stitches, turned it. So, you know, it's not fancy free motion, so don't, because free motion worries people sometimes, you get a bit free motion. So, yeah, walking foot did that. So it's a gentle curve with your walking foot is quite easy to do. You just take your time, you know, a few stitches, lift it, move it, stitch round. So it gives, you know, you can, again, a little, you can make any shape, can't you?
What a great tip.
And if you don't, if you're like, oh, well, I'm not artistic, I can't, just get cookie cutters. Draw around cookie cutters.
What a great idea.
Trace shapes out of children's colouring books. They give you, children's colouring books are fantastic for applique, patterns, quilting patterns, because they're such chunky, basic shapes.
As long as you like everything with dinosaurs on.
Yeah. Or Thomas.
In our house. Jane, thank you so much. When are
You're
you back
welcome.
with us?
Sunday.
Yay! This is excellent
I
news.
don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'll be back on Sunday.
Details. Spotted sewing. Some shape, size, description. These are beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I'm going to take these with me and go over here and have a look at some fabric. What's that? Sorry, producer Paul? Oh, the foundation book. Let's have a look. 1,000 book. Here it is. This is the other book that we have for you this hour. So in case 100 just was not quite frankly enough, the 100 book gives you all the flowers. This gives you everything else. $21.95. If you pop the CD in, go to the corresponding design. So you pick the design you want, go to the corresponding one on the CD, and producer Paul likes the bee. There he is. Let me see if I can actually find. I should have marked that page. Like that would have been, you know, like sensible. I'm nearly there. But that's your bee, and oh, I've gone past him. There are 1,000 to pick from in here. So I know he's in the foundation piece and bit at the back. Where's my bee? Where's he gone? Right. Well, you can find this when you get home, but he's in there. I am a bit behind. Yes, I am. There he is, page 70. So there he is. He's a beautiful, says producer Paul. I love that. For the centre of a kid's quilt, wouldn't that be absolutely gorgeous? $21.95, 1,000 any size. When we say any size, we're saying 4 inches up to 15 inches. Any size within that, and you are good to go. Now, if you would like to be able to make things like this, then you need fabric like this. So let's go with the red because I'm holding it here. So if you would like to be able to make something like this, you need a whopping great big bundle like this. 1 meter of each of those fabrics. You get your red, you get your vanilla linear, and your green, your emerald in there. $25.45 for 3 meters of fabric, a whopping 3 meters of fabric, all 100% cotton. All the fabrics on the show, 100% cotton. Lovely. Now, the next one, stay there, cushion, is the one that we've been working with today, which is lovely. I think this would look beautiful in a conservatory or something like that. Now, in your yellow spot tulip fabric bundle, you get your yellow there, you get your cream, which makes this a softer bundle. If we'd have put a bright white, it would have a different feel again, but we've got a soft cream in there, and then you've got that green linear down there as well. So you've got texture and softness, but freshness too in that bundle. Very lovely, $25.95 for that one. Now over here is the most popular one. Is this still the most popular one, producer Paul? Oh, was the red one taken over? But this has been certainly incredibly popular. No linear texture in this one. 2 planes in a spot, which is why there's a slight price difference. So $22.45 gets you damson. You've got damson. You've got, I want to say it's antique pink, but it's not. Pastel pink, that's the one. And you've got your apple spot on with your green there. So $22.45. This has been incredibly popular this hour. HVGC 25, and of course grab your flower block book, 100 any size blocks in there, and then you can be making such beautiful things as this. Now, after the break, Paul Clarke, he's back in the studio, so he is coming back. We will be joining him, and we will also be talking about our CAFE Facet winners for winning those signed books. We will see you in just one moment.
Follow us on Instagram. Search for our Sewing Quarter page and follow us to get our latest posts.
So today I'm going to be showing you how to sew a satting stitch. This is basically a line of straight stitches covering an area, let's say a petal, and they'll be parallel and adjacent to each other, giving you a nice satin finish. So I'm using embroidery thread, and I do have a knot in the end just for the purpose of this demonstration. So I'm going to be taking my needle from the back to the front of my work, and I'm just going to sew a simple square. So I've done my first line of stitching. And you can see that I'm coming in very close, but not through the same hole that I did before. So my next line of stitching will be parallel to the one I've just created. So I'm going to keep doing that. There we have our satting stitch.
Don't forget, shopping with us is easy and simple. You can just contact us at 0800 112 4433 and speak to our UK-based call centre to place an order, or shop online with us at www.sewingquarter.com.
Britain's favourite sewing show is coming to London, and we'll be there with bells on. The Great British Sewing Bee Live is taking place over 4 days from the 21st to the 24th of September at XL London. If you're a hobbyist dressmaker who's been inspired by what you've seen on the Sewing Bee, a seasoned professional looking for new ideas, or just fancy taking dressmaking up for the first time, this is the event for you. We are proudly sponsoring the Demo Theatre with live performances from designer, author and former Sewing Bee contestant Jennifer Taylor throughout the weekend. And with our discount code SQD, you'll get £1.50 off your ticket. So what are you waiting for? Grab your tickets now and join the buzz at the Great British Sewing Bee Live this September.
Now, as you just saw, come join us at the Great British Sewing Bee Live event down at the Excel Centre in London. We're going to be there, and if you fancy, getting some money off your ticket so you've got more to spend while you're there, then just use our discount code of SQD, Sewing Quarter discount, SQD, and that takes £1.50 off the price of your ticket. Details all on the website. There it is, 21st to the 24th of September. I'm there. Paul Clarke's there, as well as being on the show today. Now he's going to show us how to make a lovely pair of capri pants, like this. Now, before we get into that, we said winners. Haha, we like a winner. Now, on Thursday, we had the absolute honour of having Kay Fassett here for 2 hours. I got to grill him for 2 whole hours. We just brilliant, managed to talk about so many different things. But he very kindly signed 3 copies of his latest book, which is Quilts in Ireland. And we had a competition. So if you bought anything, Kay, if you went into a prize draw. Now, the winners are Da, 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 da. That's my drum roll for you. Diane Leach, Margaret Osborne, and Sandra Sherin. Congratulations to you. You will be getting one of those signed copies winging its way to you. So congratulations. Very well done. Enjoy. And we want to see what you make out of the book. Hey, now, you saw my trousers. Came out of this book. Now we've got Paul Clarke on the show, who was Series 3 in the Great British Sewing Bee. There he is. This is his book. This is his series book. There he is. Looking very happy there. It was a happy time, he says. It was a happy time. Now, what I love about this, by the 3rd series, the Great British Sewing Bee went, actually, everyone's wanting to make these. So, yes, they've done the book. And they really do step it up in terms of, oh, look, there you go. These are the Capri pants that we're making today. And they demystify all types of fabric and everything else. It even shows you how to measure yourself. So you've got, in the front here, you've got working with cottons, working with wool. You've got also down here stretch fabrics, which scare me. And then you've got luxury fabrics. So you can work your way through. And if you're, if you're like me and stretch fabrics strike a little bit of fear into you, then give it a go and learn with the book, because it takes you through. Now, we've made other makes out of this book before as well. We've also made, and it's just behind me. Oh, no, we haven't made this one. But this is what Paul was known for. Was the tutu elephant. Elephant ballerina. That's just fab. I love that. Now, the one that I was actually trying to find, Producer Paul, what page did I say to you? Was it 54 that I said? Remember that number? Was it page 50? 45, because when I was looking through our rail before we started, and we've made this out of this book before now as well, which is the sleeveless shell top. Uber flattering, because when you bend over, you've got that length at the back, that dip down the back. It's a really beautiful top, and that's in this book as well. And the beauty of the book is, it's kind of 2 books in one. So for £21.95, you get 30 different makes in here, step-by-step instructions. But look, you get a second book, which is full of full-size patterns. That comes with it as well. So you get the full fabric pattern pack. Absolutely stuffed full. Now, can I just have a quick look at these trousers? Aren't they just gorgeous? And there they are. These are your Capris. Woo-hoo-hoo. And you can get these in a bundle. I've got this in 2 different colorways. I am absolutely loving these. I was going to say to Paul, you're not getting them back, but I'm not sure they're your fit. 36.45. You get the zip, you get the interfacing, you get the fabric, 2.5 meters of the fabric, and you get your thread. All good to go. Now, maybe you want this, but in another colorway. Oh, look at this. Oh, I haven't seen this fabric either. Producer Paul is saying, I don't actually know I've ever seen this fabric. I love it. 36.45. This is your Botanica, let's try that again, teeth in ochre. I feel that Kay Fassett would approve with all this colour. Then, if that's too vibrant for you, or you fancy something that you can wear with lots of different colours, then we've got the green for you. We're going to be working with this today. Now, this is lovely. This is a lovely texture in the fabric here. You get your zip, and it's sage. 31.45. Don't forget, you get your thread in there as well. If you want that classic indigo type effect, then here we go. We've got this one as well for you. This is our last one. We've called it navy, but it's kind of got indigo and navy threaded through. It's lovely. 31.45, and it's WRGC 39. Hooray! They're the 4 bundles. I'm going to sashay whoop, 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 in my trousers. I do love these trousers. I will get to you in just a minute. Hello.
Hello again.
Thank you for coming back. I'm
Thank
taking my
you.
heels off because I can't stand for an hour in those. It's just they're
That's
taxi
it,
to
you're
table
more
shoes.
my height now.
Yeah, oh, that's why I'm doing it. Clearly not because I can't actually stand up in them for an hour. Now, are these difficult, easy, difficult, tricky?
Fairly easy, I would think.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's coming from me. These are the first thing we actually made on the sewing bee.
Really?
As
Baptism
season
of
3.
fire?
It really was. So we've just thrown in, go make something in cotton, capri pants. I've never made any before, never really made trousers before, so this was a sort of new one for me. I put loads of zips in, so that wasn't difficult.
Okay.
But they threw a curveball at us and said an invisible zip or a concealed zip. I've never done one before.
Oh.
So learning
Ooh.
very quickly.
In quite a public way.
Yes,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
a bit.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then May asked me, is that a concealed zip you put in there, Paul? Puzzled look, because I thought, no, it's just a zip and you can't see it.
That counts.
No, I had to unpick it and put a concealed zip in.
Did they help? How much help do you get then? Or is it just that if you know how to do it, then you can do it, otherwise you get penalised?
Totally, yes.
Oh.
Yes, if you don't know it, you've got to learn very quickly, as I did.
Did you have a sneaky look at other people and see what they were doing?
Yes, have a run around.
Is that frowned on, or can you have a little look?
No. We will try to help each other out wherever we could.
There is quite a feeling of camaraderie, isn't there, on the Great British Sewing Bee? It's not like, in an exam, you're not looking at mine,
No, we did help each other out. If somebody was struggling with something, we'd run over and help out. So all the men tried to get over there to use all of their tools, because we had hole punches and hammers and all sorts going on.
Get those in.
So, yeah, we all lost men.
You can't fit a zip with a hammer.
Well, I tried.
Then it's not a pair of trousers.
Indeed.
Now, where do we start with these?
Okay, cutting out the pattern. The pattern, as you said in the book, it comes as about 5 different sheets for all 30 patterns.
Have you got one there that we can take out? Because
yes, I have.
if I take these, I've left it over there, then I will never ever actually be able to get it back in the pattern. Plus I left the book over there.
It comes in, yes.
Helpful.
It comes in 5 sheets, and they are double-sided as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Within this, you've got your capri trousers, you've got your leather jackets, you've got your other bits and pieces.
Colour-coded.
It is colour-coded, but having said that, your capri trousers, they start off here as the leg of the trouser, and there as the top of the trouser back in pink.
Nice.
Then over there, they're in blue. So
Okay.
don't follow the colours.
No.
And also you've got your waistband facings there in a different colour again. So look for the description, it's on there.
Now on each of the top pages, you will get at the top on this pattern sheet, and it will tell you at the top exactly what you're getting. So for this one, you've got capri trousers, 3-hour slouchy cardigan, and kimono jacket and a leather jacket, all in this. So what you will need is pattern paper to trace
Yes.
onto.
Yes.
Well, we've got a message. Margaret in East Riding says, hi, loving today. Thank you. Says Margaret Osborne. Oh, she's a competition winner. She's the Cave Book competition
Well done,
winner.
Margaret. Well done.
Congratulations, and thank you very much for messaging in.
Thank you.
She's watching.
Good to see somebody
Congratulations to
watching.
you. Good to see someone's there. Hi, we're not alone. Actually, your uncle messaged you after the show, didn't he?
Yes.
He's putting an order in for how many aprons?
He wants 1 apron for himself and 2 for his grandchildren. So, perfect. Get those orders rolling in. I'll teach him how to make them himself, actually. That'll be fun.
It's the ultimate compliment, though, isn't it, when you make something and somebody wants it?
Yes.
Really is.
Yes.
Nice.
Like you with those trousers.
I love them. You're not getting these back.
Oh, good. I'll start making you clothing as well, and those John shirts. John keeps ordering shirts off me.
I'm not surprised. Actually, talking of shirts.
Oh, yes.
Here it is.
Shirt number 2.
This is the elephant shirt. I love this. We had a very similar fabric in actually the other day.
You do, yes.
I think it might have sold out, but we do like the elephant shirt.
Elephants have always been lucky for me, and in China, red is a very lucky colour.
So the combination of the two.
Combination of the two.
Absolute winner.
It works for me.
Perfect.
Yes.
So from this,
Yes, you trace out. So put your tracing paper over the top.
Yep.
And on each pattern piece, you've got, I think it's about 8 sizes. It goes from a size 8 up to a size 20. So put your tracing paper over the top, and this is where you can just draw on with a pen. I just got a pen and drew round. Some pieces you have to join up, so the back is a top and a leg.
So you would do that and then swing it around and then match it up and finish it off.
Yep.
And then you can make it as long as you want.
Yes, you could add length. So there's a Capri length, there's a shorter length, and there's a longer length in this pattern.
Because I have been described as a big old bird, so would require the longer leg.
The longer leg one.
Yes. So that's good. So not only have you got a lovely variety of sizes on the patterns from 8 up to 20, but you've also got that sort of size and that sort of size.
Yep.
In all directions.
In every way you want to be. Yes.
Do we need to get rid of that?
Yes, that's fine. So there's 4 pieces to cut. There's a back and a front facing, and there's a back and a front for the trousers. So they're only 4 pieces to trace off that.
I'm really pleased you're doing trousers, because there's always one stage with trousers where I look at it and go, I want to think it's like that, and it's never quite where I think it is.
Yes.
So I always watch with interest.
Right.
What do we do?
So one bit where and what goes where.
Yes.
So I thought I've done a few bits in advance.
Okay.
I prepared his and I prepared earlier style. I've done the dart markings. The only markings you need on this are for the darts. So I've drawn them on the pattern, and this is just 2 on the 2 back pieces.
Okay, so this is to give shape for the
front.
derriere.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So I've transferred them onto the fabric. So where I do the darts, I put a pin right at the bottom point. I get hold of the 2 end points. These are called legs, apparently.
Oh, are they?
They're the legs of the dart.
Ooh.
Technical. So get those, pinch them together, pinch that bottom pin,
Yep.
and then flip it over.
Aha.
Then
Lose your pin.
you find you lose your pin.
Yep.
That line that you've drawn is your line for pinning
now again,
and sewing
the way
along.
you pin.
I still pin along the line.
Well, that kind of makes sense with the dart, doesn't it?
Yes, because you follow, and then you can check that it's the same on the back. It should follow your line on the back as well.
Nice.
So you get your top line where you've drawn, and the bottom line as well.
Excellent.
So that simply stitch through. I've already done that on the other side and pressed it so that you get the finished look. So sewn and then press. You press this towards the side of the trousers. It will tell you.
Why do you press towards the side? Is that just a thing?
It tells you some patterns are different. Some bust darts will say press up, some will say press down, some side darts press to the centre, some to the side. This one just said to the side.
Okay.
So.
And beautifully tapered down there, so that when you spin it around, there you go, it's going to give that lovely shape.
Yeah.
Which is what we want. So that beautiful, that gentle curve.
Curve of the bottom.
Yes.
Now,
Perfect.
the way I do darts, I always stitch from the wide end down to the pointy end, stitch off the fabric, and then tie the 2 ends in a knot.
Yeah, because you don't want that
giving way. Lump at the end of your dart. So just tie them in a knot, and then that fixes it. I always leave these little bits till later. Then I'll go around the whole garment and just tidy up all the loose threads. Just saves them unravelling. If I cut them earlier on, then they could unravel when you're still playing about and moving things.
You don't want that.
Stay stitching across the top.
Yeah, now, okay, this was a term that I was unfamiliar with when I started here, but actually it makes so much sense now.
It does make sense, especially if you're working with very loose weave fabrics. This is not too bad, this is quite a tight weave.
Or even if you've cut something on a bias and you don't want that movement.
Yeah, perfect for that.
So a stay stitch is?
Stay stitch is a small, well, a normal stitch length, but as close to the edge within your seam allowance. So what I tend to do is just line up the fabric with, I've got to do this one yet, line up the fabric with the edge of your sewing foot.
Oh, it's as simple as that?
It's as simple as that, because your 1.5 seam allowance is further over that way.
Right.
So when you're actually stitching, your material will move over to that. And your stay stitching will be within your
so you
seam
can't
allowance.
see
You
it.
won't see it.
And of course, we have to take our quilting hats off and put centimetre and a half
Normal seam allowance.
seam allowance
Yeah.
rather than a quarter of an inch.
Yes.
God, they can't make their minds up, can they?
Although having said that, I've made a shirt the other week, and that's called for was 3/8 of an inch seam allowance instead of 5/8.
That's just tricky, isn't it? Why?
It still worked. It still worked, but it threw me completely out of. So it's always good to look at the pattern and think, right, what are the instructions? They do change from pattern to pattern. So keep that in your head. Always
Yes.
read the instructions through before you do any sewing.
These are going to be the type of trouser that you live in through the summer and into autumn.
Hopefully, if it's warm enough.
Yeah, look, there they are. There they are. That was me this morning. Couldn't take them off because I like them, not because I got stuck in them and they were too small. That was the other ones. That was the poppy ones that were a little tight, a little snug.
Needs more breathing room in these.
Yeah, no, these are great. Really comfy. And you can wear those with flip-flops. You can dress them up with a heel.
Yep.
You know, loafers, anything you like. All-round practical pant.
Very. Yes, I would imagine. I've never worn them, so. But they're almost just like jogging bottoms or lounge pants, that sort of thing. You can do these in a fabric with a slight stretch. They give you a bit more wiggle room.
Dancing pants.
There you go.
Yay! 31.45 gets you them in this lovely sage, which with a crisp white top. Lovely.
Would look nice, yes.
And then some nice brown, maybe sort of leather deck shoes or something. Look pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, also available in brand new fabric, which is here, and I absolutely love. Woohoo! Because you can pick out so many colours.
Yes.
And that's the absolute joy of this. And brand new today. If I go a little bit wonky on my seam, am I going to see it as much with a pattern?
No, definitely not with the pattern.
There we go, more forgiving.
Yes.
It's also available in ochre.
Yes. The one thing you do need to remember with that, though, with such a bold pattern, is try and get the pattern matching. So as you see, I've got
hang on a minute. Where have I had to pattern
No,
match
it's
that?
what you've got the daisy running down the front of the leg. Make sure you've got the daisy running down the front of the other leg. And get them level.
Nice.
So you might need. I use
Now
the
you can
amount
see
of
my
fabric.
little daisies there.
I use the amount of fabric that you're selling now, and I was able to pattern match those.
So 2.5 metres comes with it, and
Yes.
you can pattern match.
Yes.
Awesome. Also available in ochre. I love the ochre as well.
That is nice, that one.
It's beautiful, really beautiful. 36.45. A pair of. You see, producer Paul has been watching. Oh, no, he produced actually. You produced the show on Friday with John and Anna Maria Horner. It's kind of it feels a bit like that. It's not her, but it feels a little bit like her.
Yes, because she did a lot of floral.
Yeah. Well, she was a fine artist, wasn't she?
Yes.
Before? Yeah.
Yes.
Clever lady.
It's interesting, watching that show and hearing her background.
I actually feel I can never complain about being busy with one child when she has 7. And none of them are twins. Like, there are no multiples. 7 children.
Yes, that's a lot of work. Can you imagine a lot of work?
She's not old enough to have a 25-year-old. She looks about 25 herself. I want whatever she's having. 31.45. JLGC 31 for the sage, which is the one that we're working with there. And the details for these, hopefully will come along the bottom there. Oh, there they are. 36.45 for a gorgeous pair of trousers you are going to wear and wear and wear. What are we doing now?
Right, doing now, I've done the darts on both the back pieces.
So are these both back? Hang on. No, we've got more sewn to these. There's a back piece there.
Back piece, and I've attached the front piece.
This is...
Right.
This is where I get confused. Is that a leg?
That's one leg.
Right.
So if you put that together, that will be your right leg.
Right.
Because you've got your dart at the back.
Yes. So
Okay.
that's okay, good. What size did you make this?
These are, I think it was a 16.
Nice.
14 or 16, I can't remember now.
Same size as
I
these
just
ones?
picked a number. Yeah, same size as them, so they can't be that big.
Oh,
Because you're petite, aren't you?
Oh, you can come. I've never been described as petite in my life. I've been described as a lot of things, but petite and cute has never been one of them. Far too big for that.
There you go. That's a new one for you.
Yeah.
Then.
Oh, thanks. I'll take that.
So, yes, attach the front and the back, one front and one back together
Okay.
at the inside leg.
Is this just a straight stitch?
This is just a straight stitch down this one. The next tricky stitch is going to be the curved stitch because you're going to put the two pieces together and sew that piece.
Now, these are happy trousers. Mm-hmm. I might want to dance in these.
Yes.
I don't want to split them.
Indeed.
Is a single stitch going to be okay?
A single will be for the side seams, the inside seam and the side seams.
Right.
But you may want to do a double seam around the crotch.
And reinforce.
And
If I had an
reinforce it.
overlocker,
Yep.
which bits would I overlock?
I would overlock that. When you join those together, I would overlock all of that. When you join that piece to that piece. And I would overlock around there.
Okay.
Okay? I think on those, I did do a double stitch. I stitched round and then stitched
And
again.
did it again.
Yeah,
Belt and
I may have
braces.
zigzagged and then trimmed and pink and cheered them as well.
So I can exaggerated moves like this.
You could do the dancing later, yes.
Beautiful. No one needs to see that. No one needs to see my dancing. So straight down that leg.
Straight down that leg, which will then match up with the other one.
Awesome.
Okay, 1.5 seam allowance.
Rachel says, hi Tasha and Paul, lovely
Hi, Rachel.
to see Paul again. He was one of my faves in the sewing bee.
Oh, bless you.
Now you got down to the semi-finals.
I did.
What got you out?
Got me out, I think it was my wetsuit alteration challenge, which I made a complete mess of. Well, mess. I was trying to put net and rubber sleeves onto a wetsuit.
Just another of your drag outfits.
Yeah, it was a bit dragging over the top, but anyway, I should have just attached a skirt to it and done a halter neck back, and it'd have been all right. It'd have been fine.
That would have been
and
fine.
then I really struggled with my leather jacket because I'd chosen a really tough leather, which was almost a handbag leather. And
Oh no!
I was trying to make a jacket from
This
it.
wasn't one of these jobs again.
It was almost. I've got to learn
So
my fabric
actually,
choices.
Scarecrows you'd be fine with.
Yes.
Designer of scarecrow
Design
outfits.
a scarecrow
Perfect.
outfits. Yes, there you go.
They're going to be the best dressed scarecrows where you're from.
Why not? There's a village by me that do a scarecrow competition about this time of year. And
Maybe that is
everybody in the
subliminally
village,
what you were aiming for.
that's it. There you
Beautiful.
go.
Is that a thing then? How funny.
So,
how do we press these seams? Do we need to press these seams?
Yes, it does actually say in the book. You should really press everything when you're dressmaking. So you would press these seams open.
Fab.
Press like that.
If you want to, if you've got a fabric that frays, pinking shear it?
Pink and shear that, or in case of when I made those, I overlocked them. So I would have done that seam first and then just overlock that edge. Or you could zigzag the two together.
And then which side do you press them to? Or does it not matter?
When it's overlocked, you end up with a very small seam anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter as much.
No, but it will be closed. And then you can press it to any side, either side you want.
Because otherwise, some sewing machines will have an over-edge stitch.
Yes.
And so could you over-edge both of those edges before you do?
Yep, you could over-edge, or pink and shears work really well as well.
Okay.
But what I've done when I've been making shirts, I've done like a mock French seam. You could do a French seam.
A faux French?
And I've folded the two in together like that, then folded them over and end up with all the edges tucked inside like that.
Oh, that's clever. Hang on, let's show that again. So it's a bit like your binding.
It is like the binding,
basically.
yes, but you're almost sandwiching those two edges in together.
Very much
It's
like your
very,
binding.
very,
yeah.
very neat. And then you
Nice.
stitch right along that outer edge. Works really well.
Diane in Cheshire says, hi Paul, so good to see you on the box again. A local northern lad too, love it. The Capri pants look cool too, of course. There they are.
They are.
There they are. Yeah, brand new fabric. The fabric for that is at the bottom of your screen by my feet. By my shoes that I can't walk in. Those ones. Before I had children, no problem. After children, forget it, can't wear heels anymore. And if you want them in the sage that we're working with now, 3145 JLGC 31.
More to come.
What do your
More to come.
what do your clients think? Because you are a sports physiotherapist by training.
Yes, I am. Oh, they love it. I work in a lot of offices, and all the people in the offices know, and they watch me on the sewing bee, so, yeah, they just know what I do now.
Do you get orders coming in for fancy shirts?
I have for some. I made a gorgeous ice princess dress, is the best way I can describe it.
Would it have been particularly cold?
Very cold, very cold.
Yeah.
And the little girl I made that for, she just cried when she saw it. And she's 3 years on from now. She's outgrown it, and she just won't throw it away, though.
Oh, let it sew.
Let it sew.
Beautiful.
Love it. So what I'm doing now is attaching the two pieces together. Now, well, I call them two, the four, but this is the front and back and the other front and back, so it's like a mirror image.
Okay.
So attach them together at the centre seam. Then it will look more like a pair of trousers.
Okay.
Okay, believe me.
Oh, I'm trusting you on this, because if I had to make them, they'd look a mess. So I will very much trust you on this. All instructions in the book. Now, the book is kind of two books in one, I like to think of it, because, of course, you get... I'm going to go and get the book.
Okay.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
But I keep talking about it, and I left it over here. So I've gone to get it. Here we go. You get the book. It's got 30 projects.
Yep.
$21.95. There they are, looking very happy on the front there. But you also get this, which is your pattern pack. So that gives you all the full-size patterns in there. It's another book in one. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Here's what we're making here. Yay! Lovely. They are super cool. Very flattering, actually. I'm very comfortable in them as well.
Good.
And I'm hoping you'll come back and make that for us one day.
That would be fun to do.
This was your make, wasn't it? And it made
was,
it in the book.
yes. It was my idea.
I love that.
Yeah.
But we're not doing him today, sadly.
No. So what I like to do when I'm putting something together, pin it first before I sew it, in case I pin the wrong pieces together.
Yes.
I've done so many times. So pin that all the way around, ready to sew. So what I've done now is just open it all up so you can see what it will end up looking like. So you can see it is looking
there they are.
more like, oops, there you go. More like a pair of trousers now.
Fab.
So that centre seam will be sewn and trimmed, because wherever you've got a curve in the seam, you want to trim it as close as you can.
Oh, okay.
So that would be where the pink and shears would come in.
Yes.
Trim that edge, because this fabric is fraying quite a bit.
Okay.
So it'd be nice pink and shears around that.
Well, also any area which is going to, because this will rub as you move, as you walk.
Yeah.
So what you want to do, obviously, is stop any of that.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay.
So we'd sew that and then sew the side seams, remembering to leave a bit open for the zip.
Oh, the zip!
Nice, we're going to put a zip in this. This will be fun. Now, on the show and in the book, it asks for concealed zip. But today we're just going to put standard dress zip in. Not that I'm shying away from them, but it's just that that's what we had.
You're doing a zip.
That's what we had.
You get the zip in the pack, so you don't have to worry. It's all coming in the pack. How tricky is this? Oh, this is the most popular one. Oh, I'm so pleased, because I love these.
Excellent.
Yeah! There they are, in the flesh. The colour is gorgeous. And actually, when you get to see the picture of them on, you can see exactly what Paul was talking about getting those daisies in line and pattern matching, so that you've got those all nicely down the front.
It's going to make a fabulous shirt for me.
Oh, yes!
Oh, yes.
Can we do, John, the one out of the ochre?
Yes, and we can wear them on the same day.
Yes!
Perfect.
Like
Got it.
our poppy.
Yes.
Yes. Next most popular is the navy.
It's like denim.
It is a little bit, isn't it?
Look,
It
yes.
does. I think that's
Yes.
because of the thread going through it. 31.45, but it's going to be lightweight and gorgeous. 31.45, WRGC 39. Love this fabric. They are very, very comfy.
Okay, so I'm just sewing that on the seam.
Hang on, which
now.
bit are we doing? Which bit are we sewing?
I'm doing the
Is this the gusset?
gusset, the crotch, whatever. Yeah, that bit that
Is there a
goes.
difference between the gusset and the crotch?
A gusset is normally a piece that fits in, so it'd be
okay.
like a panel that went in, like
Oh, right, like you have in
like
tights.
in yes, like in
Yeah.
tight, or also in
Underwear.
baby romper suits.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
All of that.
that sort of thing. This is just under the crotch seam.
Now, you see, I would always have loved to have made romper suits, but my son grew so fast. By the time I'd made one, he'd have grown out of it. Okay, going round a circle
Going
here.
round a circle. So
Gently does it.
make sure all your seams are opened up. If they would have been pressed if we'd had time. So this is about the only time where I will pin soldier-like instead of along the hem.
Now, talking of soldier-like, there were quite a few military men, weren't there?
There were.
Because, of course, the winner of your series was Matt Chappell,
He was, yes.
who's ex-military.
Ex-army, and also Neil. Neil, who got
Yes,
through
Neil
to the
was,
final.
Yeah. So is that... I wonder if that's something about in the army.
I think they had to repair their uniforms in the army, so
Is
they
that
had
what
to
it is?
learn, yes. And they couldn't just give it to somebody else to do, they had to learn it themselves.
Oh, no. And good at polishing boots too.
Yes, I could have done with somebody to do that for me.
When I was
I just hate polishing boots.
when I was growing up, I kept my pony Rusty at a friend's, and Glyn was ex-army.
Yeah.
And I used to. His wife Helen and I used to go out with the horses, and every time I came back, and it was during the 90s when Doc Martin boots were in. But you never polished them. I mean, the thing was to have them as battered as you possibly can.
Yes.
And every week I would come back from being out in my wellies, and he would have polished my DM boots like you wouldn't believe. And I couldn't. I mean, he was such a sweetheart. I couldn't then say, actually, I've tried really hard to get that scruffy look.
Now I've got to go and run around the car park again and scruff them up.
Yeah, absolutely. And every week I come in, but like, how have you got them so dirty again? It's like a lot of effort.
I worked hard at that.
Yeah. Oh.
So, what are we up to?
What are we pinning now?
I'm going to pin the left hand, or the left leg. Left hand leg.
Left side leg.
Left side leg.
Left leg.
Left leg.
The left leg.
Hey, we got there in the end.
Left hand.
Left hand leg. So people say to me, oh, I'm having trouble with my left hand shoulder. I said, well, no, it's just your left shoulder.
Yeah, but it's funny, isn't it, when you start saying things like that?
Yes.
Left back zip edge over
Yes,
here. You've got
that
a little
was
post-it note.
Little note for me. I love post-it notes on things because you could just stick them on. But I stuck them on, they were falling off, so I had to pin them on.
Producer Paul's gone, oh, you'll get on with Tasha then, won't you?
Yeah.
I've got colour-coded ones.
Great.
See, I'm not
That's
alone,
where I go
Producer
from.
Paul.
My friend Jackie, I told you about before.
Yeah.
Post-it notes everywhere.
Really?
Colour-coded post-it notes and
girl.
post-it notes for their post-it notes.
Oh, yeah.
How
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
organised.
Yeah.
How organised.
Yeah.
I try and be organised. I've loads of storage boxes with all my fabrics in.
Oh, no, me too.
I'll try and get them in colour code, and then I'll try, if not colour coded, at least the fabric.
And then it's like fabric type. If it's, like the linear, try and
Yeah.
put the linears together, or, or then sometimes I do it by designer
Yeah.
as well, if I've got, a particular
you're far too
designer.
organised.
And then I actually get it all out and make stuff, and it all goes to pot. What can I say? I try.
You got
And of course,
to try.
moving house now, they're all in boxes anyway.
You're moving house.
Again.
Oh, good luck with that.
Thanks.
Good luck with that. Right, I'm going to want to try and change the stitch length now.
Whilst you have a play with that,
Right.
hold that thought.
Okay.
I'm going to go look at some fabric, and then I'll be back.
Right.
Right, is this the most popular still? Producer Paul, yay! Let's waft this around. You are getting 2.5 meters of this brand new, glorious fabric. That's the best way I can. Look. Yes, all of this. There's a lot. $36.95 plus your zip, plus your thread, plus your interfacing. Oh, we haven't talked about interfacing yet. What a fabulous fabric that is. Need to check out your basket for it though, because it's super popular. $36.45, and it's fab. Yeah. It's a good job we reinforced that crotch, isn't it? Poor cameraman Tim's just crying. He wasn't expecting such energetic movements this morning. Now the ochre. That's quite energetic for me, Producer Paul. I'm not training for the Olympics anymore, you know. That's about as energetic as it gets. Here we go. There we go. If you get a good look at this one. I want this one to be really popular too. I love this one. $36.45. It will brighten up your day. Yeah. It's got to be done. We talk about happy colours on this show. And actually, someone stopped me the other day at Festival of Quilts and she said, you know, colours make me happy. Kate said the same. Colours, happy. This is the one we're using, the sage. Zips, thread, the whole lot, interfacing, all there for you today. $31.45. I think this comes in as a nice neutral set. Sort of, yeah, I like this a lot. $31.45. JLGC 31, but very, very, very popular is the navy. So popular. Here we are. Have we done it navy with an I? Oh, we've changed it. Oh, we did it earlier. Oh, a swanky spelling. Who knows? $31.45. WRGC 31. Navy Capri pants. Nice. Let me. It's like the Ministry of Silly Walks because I've got fancy pants on. Now, oh hello. What have you been doing whilst I've been over there?
I've been sewing the wrong side.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I'm just doing a bit of frantic unpicking.
Does it matter?
It does, because the way I'd done it, you wouldn't have got your leg into anything.
Oh, so, you really
anyway,
did?
Good
job.
I've sewn the wrong
I'm going to show everyone the book then whilst
yes,
you unpick.
you go through that while I unpick.
It's satisfying.
You can't make something without unpicking it.
And comforting to know it happens to the experts. I take actually great comfort from the fact when it happens to, and it happens to all our guests, that, yeah. This is the 30 different, these are rather, dreadful English, these are the 30 different projects that you get, well, some of them. So all 30 projects have got patterns in here. That's why I say it's like a second book. So fabulous value at $21.95. Each one is 73p. It's a 73p pattern. Oh, there's some really, really flattering ones. I'm going to pop this down here and have a little flick through, if that's okay, with the cameras that be upstairs. Now, if you are learning, it's okay, because step by step for each item. So if sleeves are something that you're like, I'm not sure how to do a sleeve, it's okay. You can go and do your shirts. Maybe this is what you've not thought of doing before. It's okay. We've got that covered too. It's all in there. Ooh, there you go. That's your vintage-inspired blouse. What more? Oh, I like that. That's very nice.
That was a lovely pattern to do, that one. That's
beautiful. Lace pencil skirt. And actually just stunning with the black, the monochrome on the side. Right. If you wish to make a ballerina elephant, you see, that was like me without the costume when I tried to do ballet. It was not my finest moment. Men's classic T-shirt. I'm so pleased that's in there.
Yes.
Really pleased. Because sometimes, you know, men fall between two sizes, and it's getting that flattering fit. Now this is that I love.
That would suit you.
Yeah. When are you next coming on, Paul?
I don't know yet. Nobody invited me back yet.
Just, you know, oh, hello. Where did he sneak in? Yes. Everyone loves a man in a kilt.
Oh, indeed, yes. That was a great show when we had to make the kilt. We were given 6 hours to make a kilt.
Really?
Yeah. When you talk to professional kilt makers, they say we normally take about 6 weeks.
No.
We were given 6 hours.
Producer Paul says, surely just wrap it round you. What's the problem?
Yeah, exactly. Wrap it around you and use safety pins.
What a fuss. Yeah, he could do it in 10 minutes.
Yeah. Let's get him
We'd
down
like
here
to
and
see
do
him
that.
try.
Yes,
this is a man that's never actually used a sewing machine. It's like, what are you all whinging about? Just get on with it. Here's your leather jacket. Was this the one that you used a handbag leather for?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somewhere there is a scarecrow looking super smart.
Yes. In pink snakeskin as well.
Really?
Oh, yes.
You didn't hold back, did you?
I didn't hold back with the colours.
Pink snakeskin?
No.
Good job. Oh, I like that. Oh, it's actually for the T-shirt, but I really like the skirt. Is the skirt in here somewhere as well?
I think it'll be that pencil skirt.
Nice.
Because the pencil skirt, although it's a lace overlay, you could just use the pencil skirt pattern on its own.
Something for all ages as well.
Yeah, indeed.
$21.95. This is what I'm making today. Lovely. Love it. Right.
Right.
Now then.
Now, got the right seam this time.
Are you sure?
Yes, hope so. Because you know when you turn them inside out, they will be the right way around.
Yes.
So what work out which is your left side. When you turn them back round that way, this will be your left side. So it looks the wrong way round.
This is where I get myself in a jumble.
That's why you've got to do it, then turn it the other way round and then just try it on.
And then just double check.
Yeah. So this would be
I'm
the
not
side
alone
with
then,
the zip in. Oh no, I get totally confused between my left and my right. It's amazing I managed to get here today with our directions. You turn left here and I go over that way. I'm known for it.
Producer Paul says, lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Uh-huh.
Or if you look at, yeah, you see, this is how my mum, she's like, oh yeah, there you go. It makes an L for left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll have to think about that one. So, when you're looking at it from the back, you're going to sew the zip into the right side. So when you turn them all right way round.
Now, Julie in Greater London says, good morning, both. How lovely to see you, Paul. I hope you're coming back.
I hope so too.
What a breath
Thank you.
of fresh air you are.
Oh,
lots of love.
bless you.
I think you're our first male guest.
I am. Now, there's a first.
Making Sewing Quarter history here.
Exactly.
Paul Clarke. Did Mother Clarke get in touch with you in the break?
She did, yes. She was
proud of her boy?
She was the lady who told me about my uncle wanting the aprons.
Ah.
So, yes, she's very, very pleased.
Excellent.
She's got one of her neighbours around watching with her as well.
Hello.
So, hello, Dot.
It's a little party going on.
I know,
down at
there's a
Mother
little
Clarke's.
party there, so I'm going to have an after-show party back there, I think.
No, hang on, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Right, what I'm doing, where I'm going to insert the zip, I'm going to base the seam, which is basically you stitch where the zip is going to be.
Right.
But I'm doing it in the longest stitch setting on the machine, which is the 5, because it's going to be unpicked later on.
So make it easy on yourself.
So it
If
just
you've got
makes
to do
it
some
easier,
unpicking.
less to unpick, which I've just done a load of already.
Just to prove you can.
Just to prove
That
I
was all that
can,
was.
yes,
Prove
just
you
to
could.
show what unpickers
Yes.
are all about. So I've measured the length of the zip.
Yes.
Now, I hadn't realised this the other day, but that little bit between the end, the zip end, the stop, and the little tabs at the top, it's exactly 1.5 centimetres.
Oh, that's clever. That's like someone thought
So
about it that does
it's
dressmaking.
like you can measure, put that in line with the top of your fabric,
Yeah.
and you know that that will be where your seam allowance starts when you're putting the facing on.
Nice.
So, clever little things.
Little
So, you know,
tips like that.
30 years of sewing and I only just find that out.
It's all right.
So-
I mean, we would never have known otherwise.
I know, and I'm honest enough to tell people.
Yeah, but how many people are going to be sat at home who have probably been sewing for longer as well? There are a lot out there.
Yep.
Going, oh, look.
Oh, I didn't realise that, yes. And others will be going, oh, has he only just found that out?
I'm
So-
going to call that Paul's top tip.
Long stitches to where the end of the zip is or where you want it to be. You could shorten or lengthen that if you wanted.
Okay.
If you wanted a longer zip all the way down to your knees, you could.
Wow, that's
Change.
another style, isn't it? Mine's just a normal size zip. I mean,
It is a normal size zip.
Okay. Hang on, what sort of zip have I
Yeah.
got? Have I
It's
got a...
8 inch, 9 inch. What are we?
But that's a hidden one. You're not going to see that.
It's a lapped zip, or centred zip, that is called.
That's my zip. You wouldn't know it was there. Clever.
A 9 inch zip, I think it is. Just a standard dress zip.
Good.
So put your stitch setting back to your normal, and then you're going to do all the way down the rest of that leg.
Whizzing down there.
Whizzing down. No pins.
9 minutes left.
Oh, right.
Not that I, you know...
We'll get to put the zip in then.
Will we?
We'll get to put the zip in.
Hey!
The facing will have to wait.
You see that challenge and you step up to it.
Yeah.
What was the shortest amount of time you had to make something in?
I think we're generally allowed 90 minutes on these sort of things, but sometimes it might only be 60 minutes.
Really?
Some of the alteration challenges were 90 minutes, some were 60.
Ooh.
So press your zip open
Yes. Do you want to?
from the inside. No,
Got-
you can finger press this because
Okay.
it's very good fabric for that.
Is the quality of the cotton that you use important here?
I always use Gutermann.
Okay.
It's good. It's what we sell.
Yeah.
It's good. I've
In
always
terms
used
of
it.
that's the thread that you're using.
Yes.
But in terms of the actual cotton that the
Oh,
trousers are
in
made
cotton.
out of.
Yes, yes. Always go for the best quality you can get. Don't scrimp on fabric. So I've lined that up with that top edge.
Yes.
So I know that stay there, when I put the facing on, will match up with the seam allowance that's going to go all the way around.
At what point did you realise that? What?
When I was making those the other day.
Really?
Yes.
You just had a little
And I
light bulb
thought,
moment.
hang on, I wonder how much that is. I've never got around to measuring it before now. I just
so
thought,
funny.
I'll measure it. I wonder if that is. So
Now you've undone this zip all
Right.
the way down. Is there a reason for that?
Yes.
Okay.
I undone the zip. Always make sure the zip pull is facing your seam from the inside, because that is what you don't want it. Your zip pull on the inside of your clothing, do you?
No, that would be
you want it on the
awkward.
outside. It wouldn't be easy
Yeah.
to get to.
Yeah.
I leave it open so that I can see where it's lining up with the seam that you've already sewn there. And I will stitch it in that open position as well
will you?
till I get down to about 2 inches from the zip itself.
Good job.
Now I noticed when Jennifer was doing it the other day, she pinned it that way, turned it over, pinned it from the other side and stitched from that side. So
It's
You-
horses for courses, whatever you feel comfortable doing,
it's
isn't it?
I think doing it the way Jennifer did was you would have your top stitching on the outside, whereas this way I've got my bobbin stitching on the outside.
Right.
But if the tension's exact, then it shouldn't make much difference.
Okay, so just be aware that your bobbin
Yes.
thread needs to be the same colour, otherwise you will have that discrepancy.
Yes, unless you want to contrast stitching.
Design choices, never
Yeah.
mistakes, design choices.
Ooh, where's the foot gone? Where's the foot gone?
So, zip foot on.
Zip a foot on.
This is coming together an absolute treat. 6 minutes left.
Right, okay. Do a zip in that time. Starting at top edge. Again, now I line the teeth of the zip up with the edge of my zipper foot. See there? And just going to go down.
Now,
sure.
you haven't forward and backed and secured that or anything like that?
I don't, because I know that all those edges are going to be sewn into the facing later on.
Oh, okay, so it's going to have
So
that extra
I haven't really bothered with that back and forward.
malarkey.
Nah. Make sure you're not catching anything underneath it as well. You don't want to sew other side seams into with it. go down your zip as far as you're comfortable, leaving it open still, keeping that edge lined up.
Now this has plastic teeth. It is a dressmaking zip. It's got plastic teeth. So will you just sew over?
I will. When I get to the end, I'll sew across the bottom and come back over there. So I've got to that point there.
Yeah.
Needle down.
Yeah.
Foot up.
Yeah. Now hang on a minute. Yeah, I was going to say you need to do the zip up, otherwise you're going to have a bit of a situation.
Up. There's your zip closed.
Oh, so you don't need to pin it then going back up the other side because it's there.
Already in place then, as long as your seams are nicely pressed open.
This is one of the easiest ways I've seen to do a zip.
I find it is.
That's why you could say with confidence.
Yes.
Zip in 6 minutes.
Carry on down to just before the stop. Needle down, 90-degree turn. Now go slowly across your plastic teeth because it will sound, when you get to the middle, it sounds a bit nasty. Do a few stitches over the other side.
Do you go forwards and back a bit over there just to reinforce that?
No.
Sometimes I do.
Just the once.
It's not that I have a fear of splitting my trousers, it's that I have a fear of splitting my trousers.
Ow! Pin sticking you.
My brother split his trousers at our wedding.
No.
Dancing.
Oh. It's been some good dancing.
Yeah. And so he said to me, "Oh, can I borrow a pair of Stephen's jeans?" Because we had the reception at our house. I was like, yeah. But they're this size. Oh, they might be a bit big. Well, not being rude, Matt, but you have to split yours. Maybe going up a size.
Yeah.
Said with love as only a sister can, I think.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. But he gets married, so I'm just hoping that I don't, split my trousers dancing.
Well, it could be a tradition. Could be a family tradition. Somewhere I have an unpicker.
Producer Paul says just wear a skirt. Problem solved.
Yes.
There you go.
So
I
now,
love that. Oh, okay.
Just unpicking that seam. If it's been pressed open,
Whee!
go down to where you've done your stop there.
Now, what sort of a zip is this now called? This isn't a...
This is a I've forgotten now.
Great zip.
A centered zip.
Right.
Now this was always been my favourite method of putting zip in. It's just so simple.
Yeah,
and
done.
this is the way I used to watch my mum putting zips in years ago. You end up with slightly visible. And you just got to then pull out all your little bits and pieces.
But actually, when that's pressed...
When it's pressed...
You really won't see very much
as noticeable. And if you've got the same colour zip, it really doesn't stand out.
Hey, that's fab. Yay!
There's your zip inserted.
Easy.
So now just waistband on. Turn it inside out.
Yep.
Or waistband facing on. Turn inside. Hem the bottom. Side seam and you're done.
Job done, and that's where you need your interfacing, isn't it?
Your interfacing, yes. Your interfacing is on your facing bit, so you iron that onto one side. Your facing goes right sides together, starting at your zip side. Right sides together, all the way round. Hopefully, that side seam will probably match up with that one.
Probably. Yeah.
Leave a little bit of an overlap there. Because when you turn the whole thing inside out like that and fold again, this bit gets folded and sewn down the inside of your zip.
Oh, okay. Top tip.
Hand stitched.
All these instructions in the book?
All the instructions in the book, yes, for
So,
that.
if you're going, these are the ones here that are over on the screen there. There they are.
There they are.
I love them. They're my new favourite trousers. 36.45. And we've made the green ones today, the sage, which is 31.45, bottom of the screen. Paul, you've been an absolute star. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
I've
me.
thoroughly enjoyed.
Oh,
I mean, it's
loved
been
it.
Honestly, if you could have seen us before we came on air, it's just like dressing up time. Dressing up in all different things in the studio. You've been an absolute joy. Thank you so much. Please do come back.
I would love to. Thank you.
Yes. Come see the fabric. Woohoo! Over here. Now, if you have loved seeing Paul on the show and you want to meet him in the flesh, then get yourself down to Sewing Bee Live at the XL London Centre there. Now, because we love the Great British Sewing Bee, and because we love all of our guests who have come from the Great British Sewing Bee, we have, and because we're going to be there at the Great British Sewing Bee as well, we've got a code for you to get £1.50 off your ticket. Sewing Quarter discount, the code is SQD, Sewing Quarter discount. That gives you £1.50 off your ticket. T's and C's on the website, peruse at your leisure. Oh, right, you need to check out your baskets. It's been a very popular hour, this hour. I'm going to ochre you up, as they say. Here we go. 2.5 metres of this eye-catching, fabulous fabric. This is producer Paul's favourite, if that sways anyone. Yes! Look at this. It's a lot of fabric. Look at that. All of that coming your way. It's utterly gorgeous. This is the ochre version of the trousers I'm wearing, 36.45, YWGC 92. It's beautiful. This is eye-catching, just stunning. Whoops, showstopper ones as I just trip over the set. Now, we've got it in blue, which is what obviously I'm wearing. We've got it in the blue as well. That's the worst folding of fabric ever, but we're in a hurry now. This is your blue. Yeah, 2.5 metres, 36.45. This is all 100% cotton. If you're liking the blue but you just want plain, then we've got that too. It's like a really light denim effect fabric for the blue. So if you're after the blue, here it is. And again, same amount of fabric, 2.5 metres. I don't know if you can see, because this has got a real lovely finish on it. Can you see that? It's a really lovely fabric, 31.45, WRGC 39. So it's not a flat fabric at all. And then if you'd like it in the sage, which we've been making today, then the sage is here. It's going to look beautiful with a crisp white top, I think. That's your sage, and again, 31.45, JLGC 31. Now tomorrow, something a little bit different, because it's my birthday. Woo! So we've got my birthday shows tomorrow. So coming up tomorrow, we've got Tash's birthday bash. Then we've got a vintage princess seam top. Jennifer Mills is in tomorrow. And then we've got Tash's pet party, because everyone has to join in. And then we've got our Burda style bag at 11. That is what we've got coming up tomorrow to celebrate my birthday. So have a lovely rest of the day. I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. And be warned, because it's cake for breakfast, because it's my birthday. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. To celebrate my birthday, we've created 2 shows dedicated to my passion for fashion and penchants for pets. Join us on Tuesday the 15th of August at 8 AM for an hour of bag making fun featuring a birthday bundle of my favourite fabrics. The festivities continue at 10 AM with a show that's all about our 4-legged friends. Learn how to make a dog coat, bed and toy organiser using some adorable animal-themed prints and matching solids. There'll be plenty of fun along the way, so don't miss Tash's Birthday Bash, Tuesday the 15th of August at 8 AM and 10 AM, only on 7 Quarter, Freeview Channel 78.